Well, good evening, everybody. Welcome back to Home Park. It feels like we've not been away. It feels like we were here just 24 hours ago watching a fantastic result. But we're back again for a competition of a different sort. Tonight is the FA Youth Cup first round between Plymouth Argyle and Exeter City. Whatever competition these two meet in, there is always something on it. But this is a big game for the Argyle team and indeed the Exeter team involved tonight, partly because of the prestige of the competition, partly because I don't mean to be too partisan on this, but we do owe them one. Exeter beat Argyle in this competition last year by 1-0, and that is something that might look to be avenged. I'm Robert Nichol with you for commentary this evening, and I'm very, very pleased to say joining me for the second time this season up here in the commentary position is Argyle midfielder Connor Grant. Good evening, Connor.
Good evening, Rob. Pleasure to be here again, second time, and really looking forward to the game.
Even bigger pleasure, I'm sure, after last night's result. I'm sure we'll drop in on your particular exploits in the game last night at some point, but it was an entertaining game and a good result again.
Yeah, another very good win at home, and hoping for the same tonight for the lads.
Indeed. While the players are just getting themselves in position, we're going to have a minute's silence, which is going to be led by the referee, so we'll just leave you for a few seconds for that, and we'll be back with the team news afterwards. Okay then, we're about ready to get into tonight's action. The referee is James Gould. He was responsible there for doing the looking after the minute's silence. And we are about ready to go on with the football. So I'll give you the teams very quickly, just as a quick run through. The Exeter City lineup is 1 Jack Arthur, 2 Ellis Johnson, 3 Max Clark, 4 Michael Lilly, 5 Alfie Pond, 6 Toby Neville, 7 Jamie Nicholson, 8 Jack Veal, who is the captain, 9 Frank Lovett, 10 Sonny Cox, and 11 Nelson Iziguan. For Argyle, 1 Lewis Moyle, 2 Oscar Rutherford, 3 Brandon Purcell, 4 and captain Finley Crask, 5 Ethan Mitchell, 6 Oscar Hall, 7 Charlie Miller, 8 Will Jenkins Davis, 9 Scott Crocker, 10 Rhys Shirley, and 11 Jeremiah Medine. And that gets us underway at Argyle with the ball straight from kick-off, playing out to the left-hand side. Here's Medine with an early touch, pushing it down the line a little bit in front of Jenkins Davis, and the defender will try and see it out for a goal kick, where it goes eventually. Kind of what's your history like with the FA Youth Cup?
Youth Cup, the first year when I was a scholar, we got knocked out in the second round when realistically we should have gone a lot further. We had a lot of good players, Ross Barkley, John Lundstrom, Eric Dyer, players like that, so we should have went a bit further. And then the second year had another strong team again and got to the quarters. We ended up getting beat by Norwich, who eventually won it. So, would have liked to have won it, but it's an amazing competition and one you look forward to at this age.
I'm just looking for a chance to break the ground behind early on there. It's Rhys Shirley that's chasing after it, but it's good defending and then cleared away long by Arthur. Strong header though out the back from Argyle. It was Mitchell that won it, and he's going to have to try and win it again. Does so, but it falls loose. Exeter to try and break down the left. That looks a little bit heavy, and it's going to go out for a goal kick. Yeah, just touching on what you just said there previously about playing in it. It is a big competition. People might not necessarily realise that. It might actually be something that you need to play in and be around to understand, because in your burgeoning career at this stage, if you're 16, 17, 18, this is basically as big a game as you've played in your career to this point.
It is. It's a great chance to showcase yourself, and I'm sure there'll be a lot of nerves out there tonight as well, because obviously not only it being a derby, but it's also a great chance to show what you can do. And you're right, it'll be one of the biggest games that these have played in so far, so hopefully they can show good account of themselves.
Slight shame, obviously, that there's no fans and indeed friends and family, which is probably more important on a game like this to be in attendance. But we hope wherever you are tuning into this, fan or well-wisher or whatever your connection with the game. We'll try and bring you as much as close to the action as we can. Exeter trying to work their way down the left-hand side early on here, looking to cross it in. It's a good whipped ball into the far post. It was just a bit heavy and goes all the way out for a throw-in, but a dangerous chance there. Looked like a good delivery, but just a bit too quick even for his own forwards there. Throw-in on the right-hand side. Taken short and returned to Lovett. Tries to get the cross in. He's blocked off before he has a chance to. So Exeter just trying to settle in early on here. And once again, it's Lovett who's come out to take it. Gets it back. Will he try and deliver this time? Does. There's another block from Argyle, this time by Medine. And now attempt to break away down the left-hand side. It's blocked by Johnson, but Argyle will win it back in the middle of midfield. This is Miller. Ball chipped over the top from Krask. Argyle just trying to chase in behind. Good running by Crocker, although he might just have gone into the back of the City defender. Nothing given. And once again, Krask with a very strong header there, the Argyle captain. And eventually works its way out to Medine. Argyle just looking to get a foot on the ball. It's a bit of a hot potato early in this game, as it would be. Very important for all players to get as much of a touch as they can. And that's a really confident one from Halls coming out from the back. And he's played it through here to Jenkins Davis. Will he be able to switch it out to Medine? Takes the slightly safer option of going back to Purcell, who just tries to flick it in behind. And that was Shirley, who was just a little bit enthusiastic. And free kick is given away. But it is important, isn't it, Connor, for a game like this, where you want to get a touch as early as you can, just settle your nerves a little bit.
Yeah, of course, and I think we started to do that there, and Finley getting on the ball and trying to dictate it, which is important. So I'm sure that's more of what we want to do.
Goal kick taken down the right-hand side for City, won by Medine. Returned with interest where Purcell will get it away. Flicked on by Shirley and then towards Crocker. And it's quite congested in the middle of midfield there, but Argyle have managed to win it out from Jenkins Davis and then from Miller. So he's got a good ball down the right-hand side towards Rutherford, who overlaps. Keeps it in as well. And it's a great run. Now can he pick something out? Comes in off the right-hand side. Several in there, tries to cut it back towards Miller. It was just cut away. Danger not over from an Exeter perspective though, as Argyle try and push forward. Now the team in red and white have got it clear.
Good play, good pass by Charlie Miller, getting Oscar Rutherford through, and he's done really well on the right flank there. Unlucky not to pick someone out. Showed
excellent pace, didn't he, getting round the side. Good ball control. I thought it was going to go out of play at one stage, but he whizzed in behind down the right-hand side. A great start for him in particular. It's never nice as a full-back. The first time you get a chance, you get skinned, so the Exeter left-back will be keeping an eye out for that as Argyle will progress again, this time down the other flank. It's intercepted as Jenkins Davis
seems to have settled really well here.
It's going to be Medine that takes the throw in on the left-hand side. As we're only 5 minutes or so into this game, but it seems to be Argyle that have had the better settling in period. Exeter clear down the left-hand side. Purcell challenges, didn't win it cleanly, but Argyle do pick it up and will return it to Lewis Moyle, the first time we've really seen him in the Argyle goal. Passes it out in a manner similar to the first team. Argyle trying to play it from the back, reminiscent to how Ryan Lowe has you and your teammates playing. Connor, there is an ethos, isn't there, that seems to run through the club about trying to play football the right way. You'll know as much about that as anybody.
Yeah, 100%, and you can see already they're playing out from the back, which is, I'm sure, they'll please Darren Way, and I'm sure they work on that all the time because they'll be trying to mirror the first team, so good to see.
Ball is out of play on the right-hand side for Exeter again, so it's thrown in once again by Lovett, who seems to be playing for a number 9. He's playing wide on the right-hand side. He heads it again, but Purcell deals with it. Just going back to that point about everything sort of floating all the way down from top to bottom. Since the manager came in, we've seen, from day one what his attitude was going to be towards the game. It was so successful last season. It's doing okay this year as well. But I imagine that goes all the way down, doesn't it? Because you want these lads who are hopefully going to be the first team players of tomorrow to be playing in the same manner.
Of course, and that's the key thing really. You don't want to be learning a different style of play and then get to the first team and not know what the manager wants or requires. So I think it's important that everyone's on the same page, and it started off here that we clearly are.
There'll be a chance for Exeter here, down their left-hand side. There's a chance to cross. It's low, it's prodded, and it's in. It's the first time they've really managed to work their way into a good area, but Sonny Cox was available, and Isiguan's low ball in was just flicked by Cox. He opened his foot up. We can see on our replay here from behind the goal that it's a low ball fizzed along the ground and just outside the 6-yard box. It's a good finish, to give him credit.
To be fair, it's a good finish. It's a good low ball in the box, and sometimes difficult to defend, and the lad finished it well.
Actually started that move off, I think. Cox, he was the one that got it out wide, and then he's there to find the finish as well. So that's after just 7 minutes that Exeter have managed to get the lead, which is a shame really, because for several reasons, but mainly because Argyle seem to have settled quite nicely into the game.
Yeah, it's a little bit against the run of play, that, if I'm being honest.
If there is a positive, which there aren't too many from going behind, but if there is anyone, it is that there are 83 plus minutes for the Pilgrims to put it right if there's ever a time to go behind.
Now's the time for calm heads,
Well,
trying to keep cool, keep playing the way we play, and trying to work the openings.
And I'm sure that will come. Ball over the top there, search for Shirley, didn't quite find him, but Medine again picks it up on the left-hand side. It's Purcell knocking it back to Mitchell and all the way back to the goalkeeper. I think there's a few of these lads that have already had some experience playing a little bit further up with you guys. Indeed, Brandon obviously played earlier on this season in the EFL Trophy. It's about the pathway, isn't it? That's the word that gets talked about these days. It's about knowing that you're able to progress in that sort of manner. So what do you know about one or two of these lads that you've worked with so far?
Yeah, well, obviously we had Brandon, we had Finley, we had Charlie Miller in pre-season with us, and 3 really good players who acquitted themselves very well. And yeah, listen, they've done really well, and we hope that they can continue to improve, which is what it's about.
Exeter just trying to play it around the back. Another chance here for Cox. It's good covering though from Halls. Had to get across there in good time. That was it's a chance of a bit of danger there. What you don't want is you said about keeping calm heads. You certainly don't want to react in the wrong way and concede another one. So that was a good piece of defending.
Yeah, very good covering there from Halls.
It's going to be an Exeter corner on the right-hand side. Taking some time to get over to this is Veal, the taker. Suggesting that they've got something in mind here. I think he was waiting for a Confederate to come over and help him. So it actually is going to be looks like a left-footed take from Cox to the far post. Argyle win the header and the clearance as well from Purcell. Can try and break away down the right-hand side. Picked up by Jenkins Davis. It's a big pitch in front of him. We'll just try to play the ball down the line towards Shirley. Right idea, just didn't quite get there. So it will be another throw in to the Pilgrims. Rutherford again to take. And he goes back to Halls. And again, this familiar pattern of Argyle working it along the back line, using their shape, using the width of the pitch, and they get it out to Medine down the left-hand side. Crocker tries to turn. Was he held off there? The referee said no. It's returned to the goalkeeper and cleared away. And in the midfield by Krask. It's bouncing around. It's difficult to get hold of at the moment, but a good turn really from Nicholson for Exeter, and they'll clear it down the right-hand side. Johnson goes long and well seen off through to the goalkeeper. Did you think that was a... I thought that looked as if Scott Crocker was just held off a little there. The referee didn't seem to agree.
Definitely, and he's just tried to get his body in, hasn't he? But the referee wasn't having it.
Ball back into the midfield, picked up by Isiguan on the left-hand side. He's got some help from his left-back Clark. He's got the ball in. It's not a bad ball, that.
Very good ball. Great header by Ethan.
Good quality football on both sides there. A good delivery, but well dealt with by Ethan Mitchell. And Argyle get it back up into the other half. And they're able to just try and settle down again. Medine to take the throw. Goes down the line towards Crocker. He wins another throw in. Just progress incrementally down this left-hand side. If you are just joining us a little bit late into this game, you're very welcome. We've played 11 minutes of the game. It is Argyle 0, Exeter 1. An early goal scored by Sonny Cox, slightly against the run of play. Argyle had quite a good start and had actually engineered a very similar chance of their own down the right-hand side from Rutherford, who was trying to pick someone out when Exeter went up the other end. They managed to do the same, but it doesn't feel like there's much in the game so far. Indeed, actually Argyle having more possession in these sorts of areas. Mitchell tries to go long down the right, didn't come off, and the ball bounces around and is rather launched up the field on the halfway line. Miller trying to win it. It's picked up by Nicholson, who goes over the top, but Hall's again in a good position to win it. And Cross cuts it on. Purcell just doing a bit of covering there from left back. And we saw him earlier on in the season. This one was a left-sided central defender in a back three. This defender's a left back tonight. Strikes me as the kind of person that can he'll be able to quite adept at doing both of those jobs.
Yeah, definitely really mature lad. Not phased by anything, so I'm sure he'll do fine in that role.
Throw in on the left-hand side. They'll go up the line here. Will Exeter. It's won by Halls. And several of the Argyle players just knocking it around. Good covering from Iziguan to get in. And it'll be Moyle to take the goal kick for Argyle. Looks to pick out Medine on the left-hand side. Here's Miller coming through the middle. As we mentioned earlier on, was part of the first team squad during pre-season. Got a lot more experience than some of his teammates, so I'm sure he'll be a leading figure in the middle there. Argyle have worked it again nicely through the back line and then down the left-hand side. Was that deflected as it went down? Oh, the referee has blown his whistle. I thought that he was...
Looked like it, didn't it?
Yeah, I wasn't sure what he blew for then, really. I thought perhaps he'd seen a free kick or something, but I think it was just to tell the City player where the throw-in is going to be taken from, so it's pretty much on the halfway line. Johnson throws, it's flicked on, but Medine deals with it and hooks it away. And Exeter again trying to approach down the left-hand side, ball not towards Iziguan. That's not quite going to find his target, and it'll be seen out by Rutherford. Feels like the reaction has been good.
Yeah,
Connor to go in behind. Plenty of players trying to keep the ball and do the right thing.
Yeah, haven't come away from the game plan. And
we a chance here, right enough for Exeter. Shot deflected from Iziguan cutting inside. That came out of trying to play it out from the back. Now, I'm by no means criticising that approach, because it works very, very well on a lot of occasions. But is that a case of these players learning how to do that? Because we want to get a result tonight, but also the bigger picture is it's a learning process.
Absolutely, when you want to play off from the back, you've got to accept that sometimes there'll be mistakes. You look at any level of football, that can happen. So, unfortunately, it happened there, but got a good block on in the end.
Corner from the left-hand side, swung in right-footed, right under the keeper's head, but it was well dealt with by Moyle. Got two hands to it.
Done really well there.
Exeter will have a throw in on the right-hand side. He did deal with that well, because there was a lot of players around him there, wasn't there? And he managed to get a solid punch on it. I know that our senior player in the goalkeeping stakes in the squad, Luke McCormick, I remember asking him years ago for a programme interview, what's the most important thing you've ever been told in football? It's the best piece of advice. And he said, if you're not sure, punch it. Which is doesn't apply to you in the centre of midfield, but as a goalkeeper, Luke always says...
I can't really comment on that.
No, he always says that... he always says punching it is the right thing to do if you're not sure, and it certainly was the right thing to do there for Louis Moyle. Dealt with it really well. City again down their right-hand side, try the short throw. Well done by Medine, just blocking that off from going into feet of, I think it was Nicholson. And they'll try again, this time thrown into the edge of the box and returned again to Lovett, but that didn't get to him. And it's out for a throw-in. Short by Medine to Purcell, hooked along. An attempted flick on by Shirley, didn't quite go. The ball not dropping here at the moment, both sides struggling to get it under control.
Yeah,
Clearance.
he's very lively, hasn't he? Just a lot of energy.
Max Clark just flicks the ball in for City. Good covering by Crusk, a really strong clearance away. They'll have another chance to return it here. Will Exeter, and it's a good ball down the left-hand side, picking out Iziguan. Gets the cross in, blocked by Halls at the near post. Well, before he even got a chance to get to the near post. And it goes out for a corner. Yeah, you just said it's been very lively. You can see that both teams are obviously very, very up for this. It must be difficult in this kind of situation to actually get your foot on the ball and try and control it, particularly in your position in the midfield.
Yeah, it's been very congested in the midfield, but you can see a lot of energy, a lot of eagerness to impress, and I'm sure as the game goes on that you will be able to see a lot more calm play. But of course it's a derby, so there's a lot at stake.
It's another City corner, whipped in again under the goalkeeper, and again he gets two good hands to it. It's two non-consecutive corners, but it's a good job done both occasions by Moyle. Argyle get it clear. It's bouncing around just inside the Pilgrims' half. They'll just be looking to get their foot on it. No one can at the moment. It's going to go down the Exeter right-hand side and go back to Ellis Johnson, who tries to play into midfield. That was a good triangle move. They've managed to get it through to Nicholson, tries to play it around the back. That looks like to me, to my slightly uneducated eyes, that in the opening 17 minutes or so, Exeter are trying to play it just in behind. They obviously fancy their runners just off the front to try and get in behind Argyle.
Yeah, and I think they've got a bit of pace, so I'm sure that's one of their plans, and a couple of times it's looked threatening.
Long ball by the Pilgrims, bounces around, it's won by Halls. It's gone up in the air, well challenged there by Crocker, got up really early, it's a great spring. It put Exeter under pressure. They've actually dealt with it quite well there, have City. They've got it away. But Argyle again doing some good defending. Comfortable by Rutherford, who's had a good start to the game, had a good burst forward, but then he's done some defensive duties there as well. The right wing back. Now Medine is opposite, on the opposite side, trying to flick it down the line. Flag is up. The ball's gone out for a throw in, but the flag is up on the opposite side of the field, near side as you're watching, for an offside. It was just a slightly early run by Reece Shirley in his eagerness. Just the other thing to say in terms of what we talked about earlier on the pathway of getting up and through is that there's plenty of players alongside you in the first team squad, or indeed in the first team themselves, people like Luke Jeffcott, who's done so well since getting into the first team, but others that train with you are part of the side, professionals that might be out on loan. It does feel like there's extra on the break here. The flag was up. Just having a look there, the referee was about to whistle. I'm just trying to work out what exactly was happening. I think the linesman was signalling for a foul, and actually the referee continued the play, and it's actually gone out for an Argyle throw, so we don't need to come back to that. But yeah, it feels like if you're someone like a Luke Jeffcott or whoever you are and you've made it there, these players will be looking at him and saying, well, I can do it then. There must be some clubs where it's only ever players that are brought in, but if they know that there's a way through, that must give you even more of an incentive.
Yeah, 100%. I think you need to see that there's a pathway for you to believe that it can happen, and I think Neil Jusnup and Kevin Nanscoville are doing a lot of work to make sure that's the case. So there's definitely a pathway, there's a way of playing, so it's up to the players to rise to it and embrace that.
Yeah, I feel like I can say, so I'm speaking as a fan here rather than someone on the inside of the club. It certainly feels to me that it's really encouraging that there's obviously a plan for it all. As Argyle just try and break here, Crocker can get there first, he can, now gets beyond a couple of defenders, he's quick, and he'll get himself into the area. It's going to be a penalty. It is.
He's done so well there.
That was a homemade penalty from Crocker. That was an excellent piece of work. The foul by Johnson, you could see Johnson just after the equation. Now let's see the replay. So Crocker gets beyond Pond in the first place, then manages to get the other side of Johnson, who swings in. You can see what he's trying to do, but in the end it's a bit of a swipe.
He's just got to toe him, but it's a bit of a rash challenge, to say the least.
So it's a spot kick, a chance here for Argyle to get onto level terms. It's only fitting that Scott Crocker would take this. He made it himself, steps up, right-footed, and with the calmness of a player that won the penalty himself, steps up, strokes it in right-footed, and Argyle are level.
And I think we deserve that, really. I think the way the team's carried on playing since losing the goal, so hopefully that can give them a lot of confidence.
Short run up, we're just looking at the replay here from Crocker. Only had a couple of steps, but rolled it in. Here it is again. Lovely, confident spot kick, rolled the other way, waited till the goalkeeper had dived, committed himself, and put it through. So good for the Argyle side to be back on level terms so quickly. We played just over 21 minutes here, so barely a quarter of the way through the game. And always good to get yourself on the scoreboard. Now, even more good play there from Crocker, just hassled the defender enough to, he gave the ball away. Then a hell of a ball from back to front there from Purcell. First touch from Shirley, slightly let himself down, but it's
pass that was
good hassling.
He's got a brilliant left foot, Brandon, and he's just shown it there.
And even there with Shirley, wouldn't have been happy with his first touch, but carried on there and made something of that. He could have given up the ghost, but showed a good attitude and got Argyle the throwing in a good area. Now, can the momentum be carried on here from 1-1 to 2-1 quickly. Actually, not straight away from the throw-in. Balls from the back. A wild challenge there from the City defender. Nothing came of it. I don't think it was any malice. I think he just lost his position for a second, but I thought it was at least a foul. Ball forward, again, well won by Purcell. Bit of head tennis as it bounces from one side to another. Medine is chasing this one, which makes me think he must have got a touch on it. He keeps it in, tries to go down the line. Good little clip round the corner. And then some initially good body strength from Jenkins Davis, but a good recovery from Lilly for Exeter, and he's got it out to the left-hand side. Advancing is Clark, thinks about shooting from distance. It's charged down by Miller. Exeter will have a throw-in on the left-hand side. They work it back. Veal tries to get it through, and again it's intercepted by Rutherford. Couldn't quite find Shirley. We'll just go back to the penalty incident once again. There was at least twice, maybe even 3 times, that Scott Crocker looked like he couldn't get to something, but sheer persistence, he totally deserved that, didn't he?
Yeah, definitely. It looked like a bit of a lost cause at one stage, but he's shown great determination, great speed, and in the end got his reward for it.
Little flick from Miller, finds Shirley, and then Miller again, just trying to flick it over the head, couldn't follow it through. Again, we've made reference to it several times, but very congested in the centre. It's all about where the ball falls loose, second ball, even third or fourth. Picking up the ball, and that's a good piece of anticipation from Crass. Gets the ball over the top, and Exeter won't want to have to defend that too many times. They've seen what can happen already on that occasion. Very good defending by Pond, but Argyle will be buoyed by the way that they scored their equalising goal, or the way that the penalty was created anyway. Now Exeter try and go down the right again. So just trying to nick it away from Lovett. Exeter keep the ball, and Lilly manages to get across to Clark. Isagwan on the left-hand side, thinks about crossing. Was again blocked off by Rutherford, so it will be.
It's good to see that both teams are trying to play and play the right way.
Yeah, again, it has to be said that Exeter have had a very, very good record of bringing people through their academy in recent years, and from the long time that Paul Tisdale was there as manager and to what's carried on, they have sort of gained a reputation for being a side that likes to play as well, and they're doing quite well in League Two. So it's clearly something that they will be working on, but that will probably suit us when we want to have a passing game. Anyway, the corner comes in from the left, another one into the 6-yard box. This time it was Neville, I think, at the far post, tried to get something on it. He headed it down and out of play for a goal kick. We're just seeing this again on the replay, quite congested. Just manages to get round. I'm not sure if he thought it was going to get to him. I think he may have thought that the Argyle player just in front of him maybe was slightly unsighted.
Yeah.
Play restarts, and it ends up back with Purcell again. He tries to go short through to Medine, and then was a bit of a late tackle there on Jenkins Davis. So Argyle will have a free kick just inside their own half, and we are just the other side of halfway in this first half. I said half way too many times there, but it's just around 25 minutes. It's Argyle 1, Exeter 1 in the FA Youth Cup first round competition that Argyle have had a few decent forays into further rounds. Probably the most famous game of late was, how many seasons was it ago? 3, maybe 4 seasons ago, beating Manchester City here. So it's fun to test yourself against bigger opposition, and one of these sides wants to earn that tonight. It's 1-1 at the moment, very close. Purcell tries to get it forward, bit of a slice, and it goes out into the lower part of the Mayflower stand. And Exeter will take a throw in again. Johnson moving down the right-hand side to take it. They can progress again. This is the goal scorer, or the Exeter goal scorer, Cox. It's well intercepted. Was it Miller that did it? Was it Crass? But down the left-hand side comes Medine, tries to play it down. Just for a second there, it looked very hopeful that Crocker was well in, but I think City held their line. Certainly the flag has gone up for an offside. Although it's not come off on this occasion, it does feel that could well be a way through.
Definitely, I think you've got to use Scott Crocker's pace down the sides, and we've already seen it work once, so try and do it again and again.
Medine for Argyle carries on over the halfway line, looks to flight a ball down the left-hand side.
He's a very willing runner, isn't he?
I suppose you've got to be in that position, haven't you? You need to get up and back and cover a lot of ground, but he seems to be a good athlete and wants to do it. Does Jeremiah Medine. Halls from the back for Argyle into the feet of Crocker. Now Miller round the corner again for Crocker, who just was on a good run. He just needs to take the ball with him. City down the left-hand side, looking into the channel towards Cox. And Mitchell deals with it. It comes off of one foot then the other and goes out for a corner. We've seen 4, maybe 5 corners already for Exeter. They've tried to swing most of them in-swingers into the 6-yard area. A couple have been dealt with well by Lewis Moyle. The latest got round the back and there was a chance for Neville. So this time Exeter have changed it. They've gone with the short one, changed the angle, get the cross in. It's low. And it's out for another corner. I think it was Ethan Mitchell at the near post that got something on it. I don't think that was the intended delivery from the cross in, but it was a dangerous one nonetheless.
Yeah, it's an awkward one in the end. He needs to get the touch, so it was a good touch in the end.
They're hard to deal with, aren't they? Those low balls in good areas.
Yeah, I think he was more trying to float it to the back post and maybe didn't connect properly.
Another corner from the left-hand side. Looks very much like it's going to be a left footer this time. It is low to the near post. Little clearance away. And then the second part of it as Jenkins Davis has to chase. And he's won the throw in. Good persistence again.
Great closing down now.
That's got to be something that whoever's in charge watching this, from Darren Way up to Ryan Lowe and anyone in between, they'll be looking out for lots of different signs. Quality is one thing, but you can't teach work rate in some ways, can you? Players are either born with it or not. They must be pleased with what they've seen so far, because it feels to me everyone on the Argyle side is desperate to win every ball and chase things down. That's a great attitude to be seeing.
Yeah, absolutely. And in football, you expect that. It's one of the things that is demanded, but also what will be pleasing is the way that they're trying to play, and I think that'll be the most pleasing aspect. Mitchell
was slipped. He's tried to win it back.
I don't think.
Now, he's brought the Exeter player down. It's going to be a free kick just outside the box. Not quite sure what happened there. Oh, well, I'm sure he slipped in the first place. Here we've seen the replay. There's a slip, but he just can't seem to get himself back up. He's actually tried to head the ball on the ground. Yeah, and he's in the end just grabbed hold of the Exeter player's leg. The referee has to give a free kick. Well, I suppose if you look at where the legs come, I think he's not meant to do it, but the 10 there, Cox has put his leg through the arm really, and they've got it entangled. I can certainly see why the referee's given it, although I do feel for Mitchell it was a bit harsh.
Yeah, not for me that.
It's going to be a free kick right on the D. So the referee will mark them just around the penalty spot, given that it's easy to work out 10 yards. 1, 2, 3, 4 in the wall, 5 if you include someone on the edge looking to stop a runner. Shot comes in just over the top. And it's going to be out for a goal kick. It was Veal who took it, the skipper, just over the bar. Again, we'll see a good replay angle here. Great that we've got our 4-camera system working now. Well, we've had it working for a long time, I should say, but it's been accepted now, and we can see games. So if you are watching this for free on iFollow, this is a good taster of what you can expect on another match day now that we've got our fantastic system available to us. Ball down the left-hand side, chance here for Exeter to get into position from where they scored their opening goal. This time the cross in from Izagran is not quite as accurate. Argyle clear, and off goes Crocker again, and again that persistence. Couldn't get it under control, but he did enough to win Argyle the throw-in in a good area. It'll be Rutherford that pushes up to take it. He's just waiting for an option. In fact, use the run of Krask as a distraction to be able to knock it along the Argyle back three once again. And Purcell opens his body up. And it's a good disguise on the ball in towards Jenkins Davis. Now it comes to Medine. He pushes down the left-hand side. And speaking of pushes, I thought you got something in the back there. Anyway, it's taken 2 players to get across it. I think they might have destroyed one of our hand washing stations. That would be a bill in the post for that one. But other than that, it was a good thing.
Do you think it was deliberate?
Oh, yeah, I definitely.
Yeah.
The accounts department have already written up the bill for that. But Argyle do have a throw in on the left-hand side. It's Medine, having thrown it once and gotten a few more yards gained. He's now looking for an option again. Gets one from Jenkins Davis, who tries to protect, wins Argyle another throw. Just being patient here, just trying to get down the left flank and work their way into a good area. Medine again. This time the 1-2 doesn't quite work. He and Shirley not quite on the same wavelength. It was a bit of a Yorker, actually, to use a cricket term, in terms of the throw-in. It just bounced in front of Shirley, so it was quite difficult to get hold of. And Exeter will have their own throw-in to take on the right-hand side, nicking a few yards and then throwing it down the line. Krask was up first, and then it was flicked forward by Nicholson. Good covering by Mitchell. And another Exeter throw on this side. We've gone just past half an hour. If you are just joining us here on iFollow, it is Argyle 1, Exeter 1 in what potentially could be the only Devon derby of the season. Could be cup ties, of course. And those of you that will recall this game last year, it's not a weekend we like to talk about in too much depth, but it was an Exeter win on the Friday night in this competition, and then one on the Saturday in the league. I'm going to call it the springboard to other good things last season. It felt like the turning point, losing to Exeter. After that was all, I won't say plain sailing, but it was all certainly very positive from there on in. Got another good reaction show.
What you're talking about.
No, I won't mention it again, actually. I shouldn't dwell on it. Ball played in, good header up in the air from Krask, had to deal with a decent ball delivered. And now down the left-hand side is a Grant. Can't keep hold of it, and it is out for a throw-in. If we're talking about games when the home team scores 4, we should talk more about last night, I suppose. So I don't think I've forgotten about asking you about your goal from last night, but we'll get to that at some point when the game goes dead a bit. Here's Purcell trying to get out to the left-hand side. It's been very good distribution so far tonight. That one was a little bit weaker, but good work by Medine. I forgot to come back to it, actually. There was a ball about 5 minutes ago where it was so obvious that he was going to play it onto the left-hand side. I was forming the word Medine in my mouth in commentary, and he fooled me as he fooled the Exeter players by fizzing it into the feet of Jenkins Davis. He looks like he's a good ball player, Brandon. He can do that.
Certainly, and that's why he fits this system very well. Very comfortable on the ball.
Dean with the throw-in was not to the referee's liking. Foul throw into the ground, so he'll get turned over, and now Exeter will have a chance going down the right-hand side as far as they're concerned. Purcell prevented it from going too much further. It's taken again from Lovett, and Cox tries to wriggle away through in the box. He's found some space and then fires it over the top. Well, as much as Argyle's penalty was all made by Crocker, that was the chance there for Cox, who got Exeter's first goal, to make it 2-1, and he made that on himself as well. Receives the ball back to goal, but wriggles away through two and jinks past another. And then right-footed.
I think he's a dangerous player, doesn't he? Got a lot of ability. I
think he's a left-footed player from what I've seen so far. He took a couple of corners with his left peg, so I think he's a left-footed player. Perhaps if that was on his left foot, he might have had a bit more of a chance to finish that off. But that was very lively play, as Connor says, and a chance for City. Both teams have had their chances as well as the actual goal. You say it's fairly level to this point? Would that be?
Yeah, I'd say so. I'd say that the scoreline reflects the game. I think there's been a couple of more chances each end, but it's been a very competitive game and very even so far, in my opinion.
Yeah, some good quality on show. Plenty more of the game to go. We're only up to 9 minutes until half time. Still 1-1. It's a good piece of work again from Jenkins Davis. Got in there first. I was just about to say I rather felt he was fouled, and the referee has brought it back to where that first occurred. Free kick will be taken by Purcell. He has his arms outstretched as if to say, who's going to offer me something? Well, first of all, it'll be Krask. Players around him, but he didn't mind that. Happy to take it in. And then Hall's going down the channel. Nice dummy from Crocker. He could be away here. He's got Shirley with him in the middle. Tries to find him. It might fall behind him. And it's going to come to... Oh, it's a good save. It'll come to Jenkins Davis. He tried to open his body up.
You see the danger of Crocker there, using his pace again, and he's picked out a lovely ball and It's just unfortunate with the finish there, Jenkins Davis.
It's a fantastic dummy, outrageous dummy in fact from Crocker, as we're seeing on the replay. Plays the ball, I think it was intended for Shirley, it fell behind him, but it's a great run in from William Jenkins Davis. It was well saved. It will be an Argyle corner. She's cheekily taking from outside the quadrant, got away with it. In it comes, right-footed, played in, attacking at the far post. There were several players coming in, just couldn't quite fall for Krask, who I think it was intended for. Exeter to try and break away down the left-hand side with Iziguan, but huge work from Crocker.
Wow.
Goodness me, I think he's been the story of this first half so far, in some ways. Great work back, and he's won Argyle the throw-in.
You can see him sensing the danger straight away from the corner, and he's done unbelievable to get back there.
Argyle have it along the back three again, worked along to Purcell. Looking down the channel for the run of Shirley. It's not quite going to get that, but it's going to stay in. I think he thought it was going to go out of play first of all. It did stay in, but all Toby Neville could do was hook it over his head. I don't know if it's a temporary thing, but it seems to me that Jenkins Davis and Medine have swapped over.
Yeah. They seem to have.
I thought to begin with, goodness me, someone's very happy to remind us it's fireworks night and letting off some huge noises out there. But yeah, they have switched over, haven't they? And that's probably where Jenkins Davis was able to come in and attack that one we had the chance, because he's now playing off of the left-hand side. Takes the throw to Medine, who he switched with. Nice ball inside by Purcell. Argyle quickly switching it from left to right through just two players. That's nice work, getting it outside to Rutherford, who comes inside. Oscar Rutherford clips it into the towards the run of Shirley. He's been really unlucky so far, Reece Shirley. He's popping up all over the place in good areas.
Yeah.
It's just not falling for him, is it?
Yeah, definitely. He's made a lot of runs, and hopefully one of the balls will find him, because he's showed a lot of energy, a lot of endeavour, and hopefully he'll get rewarded for that.
I feel like I've made a lot of Scott Crocker's input so far, but I certainly don't want to leave out his opposite number, because the two of them are working very hard, the pair of them. It's just Shirley's not had the moments, it's just the way the ball has bounced. Speaking of bounces, it nearly comes through there to Cox, the Exeter forward, and it's cleared away by Doyle. It'll be out for a throw-in to the Grecians, just inside their own half. Just over 5 minutes remaining until half-time. What I neglected to do earlier on was give you tonight's substitutes, which I absolutely should have done. For Exeter, Eli Collins, Andrew Sowden, Zeph Collins, Charlie Hanson, Joe Ragg and Gabriel Billington. And for Argyle, Zach Baker, Ali Mansoure, Carlo Garside, Oscar Massey, Jamal Salawu, Jeffrey Fulkuu and Jack Endicott. It may well be that Argyle need to use their bench. We've already mentioned how some of the players already showing great work rate, but on a big occasion with a little bit of tension in the muscles as well, on a big pitch, springy pitch, there's going to be some weary legs later on, so it might well be that the bench is used. There is genuinely something in that, isn't there? The mental pressure that actually tells in your legs a little bit later on in the game. It can happen.
Definitely, I can vouch that myself from playing this competition. That anxiety, the nerves all throughout the day, waiting for the game. So I'm sure there will be some of that.
Diving tackle there from an Exeter defender. I can't quite work out at the moment. I think it was Lilly, but it was Crocker that got away, and it's again brought down. So a free kick wide on the right-hand side. Chance here for Argyle to make something of this. Medine is in position to take it. Doesn't look like a disguise is in order. Or maybe there is now, because over goes Charlie Miller. So there'll be two players around it. There's a gathering of Argyle players around the edge of the box, just inside the area. So left foot of Medine, it looks like, and it comes left-footed high to the far post around the edge of the 6-yard box. It's a really good header away from Pond. Argyle with a chance of returning it. Medine again on his left foot, hooks it in, similar sort of position. This time Shirley is the one up. It's a really good header. Crocker just hesitated. I think if he'd have gambled on that one, he'd have had a bit of a chance there.
Yeah, Shirley done really well with the header, and I think maybe Crocker could have gambled, as you said. So poked it back past the keeper, maybe.
Jack Arthur will get us back underway, the Exeter goalkeeper. Argyle might feel that there was a half chance there. It would be a good time to score. That's a cliche for you, ring the bell, but it's only just 3 minutes before half time. If either side could nick a goal. talked a lot already in this game about mentality. It's not just the physicality of the game and the skill and all that kind of thing that's on show, but what's in the head as well. And if you can get in front, it's a big mental thing. But at this moment in time, it's 1-1. Argyle have already shown good mettle, coming back from a goal down, equalising, and they deserve to do so. Here's a throw-in, taken short, and now think about going long, but go short and then structured in towards the feet of Shirley. It's cleared away, and it will go to Moyle, the Argyle keeper. Again, it's rolled out short. Purcell happy to take it with a player for company, but manages to move it out to the left-hand side to Jenkins Davis. Medine, the two of them interchanging nicely. They've swapped each other's positions, so they understand it well. Jenkins Davis had a chance to go square, and I think that Miller was a little bit upset he didn't get it. Ball into Shirley, lovely first touch. Medine, good feet from him as well. And out to the left-hand side to Jenkins Davis. It's a good couple of minutes here for a couple of the Argyle players getting solid touches on, showing really good poise, really good skill on the ball. I think tends to be referred to as technical ability. Certainly, if you've got no first touch, then you're pretty stuck, aren't you? But they're showing some good poise on the ball, and then the commentator's curse as Miller tries to play it around the corner, and it goes out for a throw-in. This time he brings it down though and turns nicely. Good recovery from Charlie after that, and then a good ball too, trying to get it over the top towards Crocker. Goalkeeper has to come out of his area, clears to a point, it's up in the air. Bounce around there, Rutherford will try and get underneath it and win it. Now Miller brings it down, he plays it towards Shirley. I thought it might have been offside, it wasn't given. Crocker trying to pick up the loose one, right on the edge of the box. Turns it, Medine, he just couldn't get a shot away inside the D, but he's managed to get hold of the ball. Now does get the shot away, it was on target, I think, just. The referee had his arms outstretched. I think he was indicating that he had played an advantage, because it looked like Medine was on his way over, wasn't he? He had been fouled. I just wonder if the referee could have come back there for the free kick, because I'm not convinced that the Argyle number 11 really was set. I think he'd been fouled. Not given, no. Not given in a slight way, because it was the foul was given, if you like, but the decision was to go with the advantage. Just under a minute to go in this first half. I don't anticipate too much time being added on. What's your assessment of the first 45 minutes overall?
I was just thinking, I think they can be pleased with the first half. Obviously very pleasing to get back into the game, and the disappointment of going behind, but I think they responded really well and grew into the game a lot, so they're hoping to continue down the second half.
Ball is with Argyle, down the left-hand side. Jenkins Davis. Jenkins jinking down the line, keeps hold of the ball. He returns it to Medine. An interchange with Purcell. Argyle keeping the ball. The 45 minutes are dead on now. I don't know if we've got a fourth tonight. Yes, here he comes. So we're going to have 1 minute added on. Argyle are going to be able to try and find something in that space of time. A bit of pressure on the goalkeeper, but a good clearance away. But again, won by the men in green. Cleared away by City as Purcell works to try and get his body in the way. Flicked on by Cox for Exeter, but covering from Krask. And now suddenly, with 30 seconds left of that minute to go, it's City that want to try and use that time effectively.
Well done, Finley.
They try the throw in down the line. And again, the tracking Finley. Krask sees the ball out. It'll probably be our last meaningful action. There's only 15 seconds left of the minute that was signalled. And indeed, just short of that, the referee blows the whistle for half-time. So we'll go in at the break. Argyle 1, Exeter 1. And we mentioned it already, but a good response from Argyle after going behind very early on for a goal from Sonny Cox that was nicely laid into him from Nelson Isagwan. Scott Crocker burst forward for Argyle, worked his way into the area, was brought down, and then stepped up to take the penalty himself. Looking ahead to the second half, the areas where we'd like to see Argyle play a little bit more and will show a threat. They have looked that when the ball is behind the City defence and gets them turned, Crocker and Shirley look very hungry for it, look very interested in getting in behind. That's got to be an area where we've got to look at second half.
Yeah, 100%. I think they look very dangerous. I'm not sure the Exeter centre halves are enjoying playing against them, so it's an area that we can look at to exploit, and yeah, I'm sure that Darren will be saying that inside and encouraging that.
Absolutely. Well, it's an entertaining first half here at Home Park. We're just having a little look at the goals again here. That was the ball in low to the near post. Here you see the turn from Cox, and then he managed to move it out to the left-hand side to Izagwan. It's not quite in our shot right now, but Cox is making the run to the near post. He did well there, the Exeter forward, didn't he?
It's a good goal. It's a really nicely worked goal, and
this is probably a better angle. You can just see the run he's making. Knows where he wants it towards that near post.
ooh, just a bit of movement there, isn't it? It's just held his run.
Just a little step back. And here's the Argyle penalty, or the work towards it. So Crocker gets past the first one. Looks like he's lost it there. Good body shape to get in front, and in the end, it's a bit rash, isn't it, from Johnson? And his body language afterwards, he had his hands on his head. He knew that he made a tackle he couldn't win.
Definitely, but the persistence from Crocker, he deserved to get that, and he done really well.
Referee was well positioned. And then a nice finish from
Very
Crocker
cool
from the
penalty.
spot. Keeper actually was a little bit behind
Standing
the line there, wasn't he?
Yeah.
But they are rolled in by Scott Crocker. I'm just going to have a look at a few other chances here. That was the ball to the far post that Toby Neville just couldn't quite get onto. He just managed to wriggle away from, I think it was Miller. Just didn't manage to get too much on it, and then a free kick just flicked
There has
over.
been chances at both ends, hasn't there? To be fair.
Yeah, that's the one from, I'm not quite sure all of the ones we're going to see here.
This
Oh
was
yeah, this was the
lovely.
move
Oh,
from
lovely.
Crocker, just again getting behind his man, playing the ball through, and it's Jenkins Davies that came off the left. That shot didn't really, or the camera shot didn't really see it. Indeed, what we didn't talk about was the ball initially there from Oscar Halls. You
yeah.
see from that
It's
angle, it was a
great
really
pass,
good area,
yeah.
wasn't it?
It's the kind of ball Brandon's been playing from the other side as well. And I think he might be a little bit disappointed that he hasn't scored there.
Should he maybe have gone across the goalkeeper rather than looking near post?
Possibly, yeah.
And this was Medine right at the end of the half trying to work that ball out. I still think I think he's hindered there.
Yeah.
And the referee, if you watch the referee's given that arms out, suggests to me he felt it was a foul
Yeah.
and gave an advantage. I personally would have liked to have seen that as a dead ball. But speaking of which, let's do it now. A free kick on the edge of that box. Who would want to step up and take one from there?
Not me.
Talk us through it. Go on. It was a fantastic goal.
No, I think I'd won the ball from midfield and when we're driving run and got fouled, and I think we had one earlier on which I didn't take. I think Ryan had one on target, and just fancy myself. Done a bit of practice on Sunday with Shuey and a couple of little lads, and yeah, I've caught it sweetly, and thankfully it went in exactly where I wanted it to go, but they don't always go there, so it was a nice feeling.
The fact that you've got on the score sheet a few times this season already, does that give you a little bit more I know you're a good dead ball taker anyway. I know you've got a lot of confidence in yourself. You've got a great left foot. But when you've already scored a couple and you step up to that, do you feel a little bit better than if you'd say you'd gone 25 games without goals?
Absolutely, yeah. That's a natural thing, and definitely the confidence is there. I feel anywhere that I get the opportunity to shoot or have a chance, that I feel confident. I feel like I can score goals. So it's a case of building on that and try and make sure that I don't go too long without a goal in the games coming up. So no, I'm pleased so far.
And just finally, before we take a little break for half time, we'll just leave you for a few minutes during half time and then come back with the commentary, of course, for the second period. But I think the total is 13, maybe even 14 players now that have scored in all competitions so far this season. Some teams won't go a whole season with having that many goal scorers. We've had that already. Forget the amount of goals, but the sheer goals that are coming from so many different places on the pitch, that has to be a good thing, because you're taking pressure off your strikers, but they're scoring as well.
Absolutely, and obviously the strikers are scoring, but it's a case of chipping in from all over the team, whether it's set plays with the centre halves or the wing backs, as we've seen Jobo and Barden score the last couple of weeks. And I think it's the way we play. We're going to create chances and we're going to get opportunities, so it's a case of being clinical and ruthless when we get them opportunities.
Must be a pleasure to play at the moment. It must be, especially here at Home Park, where the record is so good. There's only 2 teams have beaten us here, I think, since Ryan Lowe took over, and one of them we sort of avenged last night because it was Swindon that won last season. So there's such confidence at the moment. You can see it in the team.
It is, yeah, and especially here we're very confident. I think we're a good group. We've got a good togetherness, so we're all fighting for each other. But as you can see on the pitch, we're playing some really good football as well. So it's a case of building on that and keeping the consistency, keeping the levels high in training and taking that into the match.
And of course you can follow all of the first team's games here on iFollow. You can find out much more on the website about how to get your match passes, etc. Back in action again on Saturday, and we'll talk maybe a little bit more about that later on in the broadcast. But for now, here at Home Park, it is Plymouth Argyle under-18s 1, Exeter under-18s 1 in the first round of the FA Youth Cup. We will be back with full coverage of the second half in around about 10 minutes' time. Welcome everyone back to Home Park for the second half of this evening's game in the FA Youth Cup between Argyle and Exeter City. It is currently 1-1 and we're just about ready to get underway for the second half as our referee this evening, James Gould, just has a little word with his fourth official, but we are about ready to go again, and the referee starts us off for this second period. Exeter quickly knocking it long down their left-hand side. Argyle deal with it. This is Rutherford. And they'll play it down the right-hand side with Argyle. Chance again for the ball to be played forward, but Halls just turns back and keeps hold of it. And then out comes Mitchell. We'll give you the full lineups of both sides in just a second. This is Shirley chasing it down the right-hand side. Holds it up.
Great play there, Mitchell. Very confident. He played a lovely ball down the channel.
It's good poise on the ball, wasn't it? Because there was a player bearing down on him, but he held on and made something of it. Here's Rutherford trying to turn. It's fallen loose, and it'll be Nicholson for Exeter. And then the ball played forward, skewed up in the air. Good header from Rutherford. Miller. And then Krask moving it towards the left-hand side. This is Brandon Purcell. Out to Jenkins Davis, who has started the half back out on the left flank. We saw him switch over with Jeremiah Medine late on in the first half, and they've remained where they were. I thought that was going to go through to the keeper, Arthur, but it was cleared away by Pond. And Argyle managed to work themselves back in. This is Crocker, about 20 yards out, plays it towards Miller, who shoots. It wasn't a million miles wide, didn't quite get hold of that like I think he would have liked to, but not a bad effort. Argyle starting the best here in the first 90 seconds.
Yeah, definitely. Half a chance there for Charlie Miller. He's got good quality, so he's very dangerous from that area.
Let's give you the Argyle team first of all. In goal is Lewis Moyle. It's a back three from right to left of Oscar Halls, Ethan Mitchell and Brandon Purcell. The right wing back, Oscar Rutherford. On the left hand side, William Jenkins Davis. In midfield, the deepest of the three is Finlay Krask. He's got Charlie Miller and Jeremiah Medine either side of him. And then up front for Argyle, Scott Crocker and Reece Shirley. The Exeter team is Jack Arthur, Ellis Johnson, Max Clark, Michael Lilly, Alfie Pond, Lily Pond, haven't you just noticed that? Toby Neville, Jamie Nicholson, Jack Veal, Frank Lovett, Sonny Cox and Nelson Izakwan. It was Exeter that got us in front, or got they opened the scoring this evening, got themselves in front early on in the game with Sonny Cox turning home. He built the play forward, got it down the left hand side, and then Izakwan found him, and Exeter led only a few minutes in. But Argyle got themselves level just around the halfway point in the first half. Scott Crocker doing his own good work really, forcing Exeter into giving away a penalty which he took himself and scored. So we are at 1-1. That gets you up to date to where we are now, just a couple of minutes into this second period. As the ball bounces around, Exeter have a throw in on the left hand side. We covered it towards the end of the first half. Let's just break off to see if anything comes of this. No, throwing goes behind. Argyle will be, I would imagine, reasonably happy with their first half. It was a pretty even game. We said that the score was fair, but the Pilgrims would have been happy with their performance to that point.
Yeah, I'd say so. I think it was a pretty even game, but we grew into the game a lot more, and I think that's the way we started the second half. You've seen the lads who were out bright and early for the second half, because I think the management would have been pleased.
Medine just tries to play the ball through the middle there, and the pressure again exerted by Shirley forces the ball to go out for a corner. I feel like he's done just as much good stuff off the ball as on tonight, Reece Shirley, because he's been a bit unlucky with a couple of the bounces, but he's never given up on anything, and that was a great example of he couldn't get to that, but he's won a corner. Definitely,
it's another one of them moments where it was an early moment for him, and hopefully one of them will become a good moment.
Corner from the left-hand side for Argyle. They threatened to go short, then it's fizzed in towards Medine. He flicks it round the corner. That was an interesting little routine. Didn't quite come off, but certainly had Exeter guessing. Ball not cleared from the Reds, and Argyle try and knock it back in with Miller. Didn't come off for him. And Cox, I think, has probably been as eye-catching as anyone on the Exeter side of things. Holds it up enough that he wins a throw down their right-hand side. It was an interesting corner routine.
Yeah, looked very inventive. Obviously something that worked on. Very bright.
Down the right hand side, go Exeter, just goes out to play. The last time I covered Argyle, the first team, was for iFollow and for Radio Devon in the game against Northampton. And I remember commenting to Ryan Lowe after the game that the amount of different corners that Argyle came up with. Short, near post, far post, worked. It was just an array. It must be so hard for defenders to come up with. Is that something you guys work on a lot?
Yeah, I think the manager and the staff, they all do a lot of research on that kind of thing, and they're always drilling into us different corner routines which will affect different games. So it's something the manager takes a lot of pride in, and we've got quite a few up our sleeve.
You're someone that's often involved in that, and there's quite a few good dead ball deliverers in the squad, isn't there, as well? You can keep everyone guessing.
Yeah, definitely, and obviously we're happy to put it in, but also we play a lot of short, so it's important to mix it up.
Exeter have the ball, they're working it across to their left-hand side. I can see a bit of activity on the bench just below. I think Exeter are readying a sub. Ball over the top, Croconoo is offside. Rutherford thinks about chasing it. It's not quite going to get there. And they'll go through to the goalkeeper. And there's at least one Exeter sub coming. And as long as our team sheet is accurate, it's going to be Charlie Hanson. He's only played 6 minutes or so of the second half, so either this was a bit of a pre-planned thing. Oh, lovely tackle there by Purcell. What a great stop, right-footed. I'm not going to go too over the top, but there was a bit of a famous Bobby Moore tackle that resembled there, just stepping in and winning the ball back. Here's Medine, goes out on the left-hand side. Jenkins-Davis, back to Purcell again. Movement by Crass, just gave him a good angle there and moves it along to Miller. That's going to be a free kick. Yeah. I think the delay there was literally the referee had his whistle the wrong side of his wrist, could get it in his mouth. But when he got there, he gave the free kick. Argyle will have a free kick to start with once we get the restart going, but Exeter are going to make a change. So off is coming Jamie Nicholson, potentially carrying an injury. I just wondered this early in the second half whether it was go out and see how you feel and give a little indication. That can sometimes be the case, can't it?
Yeah, definitely. Give it 5 or 10, see how you feel.
Well, it's the end of the game for Jamie Nicholson one way or another, and on comes Charlie Hanson, and we'll see where he fits in. He looks like he's gone up front to me, so maybe it's going to be a move for Sonny Cox going back into the position that would be described on his shirt, really, what we tend to call the number 10 position, just off of a main centre forward. I think that's where he'll go and play, and I would kind of figure from what I've seen in the first half that would kind of suit him. He looks a good ball player that would be perhaps more suited to that position than where he started off. We'll see. Anyway, Exeter have got themselves, I think, a free kick on their left flank. Jack Veal is hobbling. He's got a little clip, I think, on his foot. And it will be a free kick to Exeter. So a dangerous position here for them to swing one in. The aforementioned Sonny Cox is over the ball, along with, I think it's Lovett with his arm raised. And it comes, right-footed, it's low to the near post, it's got a touch, and it's in. Just trying to work out who got the touch on it, but Exeter celebrates. And early in the second half, not quite as early as they did in the first, but early in the second half, they have gone in front. See there on the replay, the ball delivered into a good area towards the near post, wasn't it? It was hard to defend against.
Yeah, it was into a good area. To be honest, I thought the free kick was pretty soft.
And
Not
it's
too
Neville.
sure what it was given for, but yeah, it was into a really good area, and he's got a good touch on it.
Toby Neville, who was the player actually that got into the position at the far post in the first half on the solitary Exeter corner that got round the back. And this time he's got towards the near post. He's stuck out a leg, and it's come off. City are back in front here, just 8 minutes into the second half, and I noticed that instantly Darren Way signalled down the line, and he's just having a little chat at the moment, so there could be an Argyle substitution relatively soon.
Relatively similar to the first half as well, where Argyle looked pretty confident, and then the goal sort of begins to win the play.
As we said in the first half, if there was any positive to come out of a goal, it was that there was a lot of time to reply. There's obviously not quite as much now, but there is still a long while in this second half. We're not at 10 minutes yet of the second period. So Argyle, who as Connor said, have settled in nicely into this second half. It was against a run of play. But Exeter may have their tails up a little bit now, having got the goal. They've broken up an Argyle attack and now look to swing forward again. A good interception by Halls, who prevented that from getting into the run of Isagwan. Clark for City. He'd look to go down the line, I would think. Does so. And there's a flick on from the substitute Hansen. He's got no one behind him. So Mitchell again, very calm on the ball, Ethan Mitchell. Argyle trying to bring it out, it didn't quite get through. So Isagwan looks for the 1-2. Veal didn't even look, knew where his partner was going to be. Gets the cross in, it's going to fall inside the 6-yard box. It just didn't get there.
Isagwan's been very dangerous down the left, hasn't he? Got great pace, seems to have a really good cross on him as well.
Delivery there was excellent on the run as well. Just hits that first time towards the far post, and Lovett tries to take a touch. It gets a bit beyond him. Could he maybe have hit that first time, do you think? Would that have been the shout there from the Exeter number 9?
Possibly, yeah. I think it was there to be hit.
Again down the left-hand side, Isagwan looks to get a ball in. Rutherford won the first ball, and then the second was again an Argyle fit. I think it's Miller that got there. It's an Exeter throw. Down the line will go Clark, in towards Hansen, brings it in, tries to turn. Plays it off of Rutherford and earns himself a corner. Intelligent play by the Exeter substitute. It's going to be a corner. We've had quite a few of these so far of Exeter. There's only really that one in the first half that Neville didn't finish. Not like the way he finished his free kick. But the others were often dangerous, but they were well dealt with. Let's see what happens here. It's the same two players, I think, over it. Lovett and Cox. It's going to be Lovett, right-footed, swung in towards the far post. The attacking header bounces around, a clearance away by Miller. Exeter look to try and return it with Clark. And swung in again, this time it's low, up in the air and away from Mitchell. It's only about 25 yards from goal, but then headed on by Miller. It's now going to find its way to the Exeter right side again. And that's a loose ball, picked up by Jenkins Davis. Argyle could break here. Exeter still got plenty back, but Argyle have the ball. Trying to find Crocker was Jenkins Davis. Didn't quite get through, and eventually picked up by Johnson and cleared away by Lovett down the right-hand side. Just a chance of the break, but they did have a lot of men back there. Exeter
They did. I think maybe the pass could have came a little bit earlier, but it would have been a really difficult pass. But again, another great run from Crocker to stretch the defence.
Certainly has looked busy throughout. There is some definite activity happening on the Argyle bench, so I would imagine there is a change going to be happening within the next minute or two. Down the left-hand side, cutting inside is Jenkins Davis. The ball was just ahead of Medine, but it's a good recovery from the Argyle number 11. Gets something on it. It does fall to an Exeter foot, and they can go down the left with Clark. Dinked towards Isagwan. He can't control that one, no matter how sparkling his feet have been so far. And it's an Argyle throw. Joe Raglett's set to come on. Imagine next time the ball goes out, we're going to see that first Argyle change. Purcell down the left-hand side. Dealt with again by Exeter. It's a high ball for Mitchell to get hold of. He did enough in the challenge. And Krask deals with a difficult bouncing ball. Purcell, and then the way he goes, Jenkins Davis turns away. Flag has gone up.
It's looked really lively, Jenkins Davis. Nearly a lovely turn there.
Yeah, he did practically everything right, didn't he? It was just he was a little bit too tight to the touchline. Even then, I'm not absolutely convinced it went out. But the flag went up. Right, here comes the change. Let's see where it's going to be. It's going to be Shirley. And will go off the pitch at his nearest position, and on will come. I said Joe Ragg earlier on, and I got the wrong side of it, of course. It's Jamal Salawu that's going to come on. I was reading down the wrong side of my paper, I do apologise. Jamal Salawu on for Argyle. Chance down the right-hand side here for Exeter. He's just going to run the ball out there. Is Lovett's got round the back, but pressed it on too far. So straight swap up front for the Pilgrims. Off goes Shirley just after the hour mark. Or just under the hour mark, I should say. But he put a good shift in though, Connor, didn't he?
Very good shift, and he was very unlucky on occasions to to getting in, made loads of runs, and I think he can be pleased with his night's work.
Purcell to Jenkins Davis, who again tries to advance on the left-hand side. I don't think we get too many stats and figures for games such as this, but I feel like Argyle will have been well into the 60s in terms of percentage of possession in this second period. It's dealing with it, getting it in the right areas that they need to convert. Good signs though, at least the building blocks are there. And they take a short free kick in their own half. Medine to Mitchell. Now Halls opens his body up and brings it forward down the right hand side. Rutherford tries to return it to him. That was a little bit loose. Halls will get there. Just got to be careful of that loose pass. It's the right thing, but it's not necessarily executed perfectly, but they'll get there. In comes Jenkins Davis off the left. The run has been made by Rutherford, well spotted as well.
What a pass that is.
By Krask. Lovely ball, great control. So if there's something on the end of this, this will be a one to remember. Rutherford, Jinks gets the cross in, flag is up. Ball had just about gone out of play. Shame nothing really materialised then, but everything from that, from the play on the left-hand side to the ball across and the touch from Rutherford, that was lovely play until the end. It was unlucky, he just couldn't quite get the ball in.
I think in the end he had a couple of men round him, so it was quite difficult to get the cross off, but it was a lovely crossfield pass from Finlay. But again, being a good response to the goal, still playing the same way, and hopefully we'll create chances.
It's going to be, there's more activity on the Argyle subs bench. We're going to see another change in a second, I think. Before that, Hanson turns into trouble from Exeter. And Rutherford, again under pressure, showed good poise. I've been so impressed with I think everybody on the Argyle side, the amount of times that they're under pressure but are happy to receive the ball, take it in, use it, try and do the right thing with it. It's so good to see. That doesn't always come easily, does it, at a young age? I know a lot of these lads would have been in academies from a very, very young age and played a lot of football. They're obviously excellent players, but you can get overawed on these sort of stages, and they rigidly start to doing the right thing.
And I think the way they're trying to play, which is the right way, and I think it takes being brave. It takes being brave to receive the ball under pressure, and I think they've all done that very well tonight.
Jenkins Davis again, so good feet, comes inside again. So good on the
really
ball.
Good.
Interesting to note that he started in central midfield and has moved out to the flank. Feels like he's been in the game more out on that left-hand side. Anyway, it's Miller now using Rutherford. He's been just as good as well on this right-hand side. He's got two round him. That's probably a sign of respect because they need to deal with his runs down the right. He tries to turn and beat his man. Don't foul him. Ball still right on the line. Rutherford tries to win it back. It's gone out for a throw-in. Good positions, and as I say, they need to look after him at the moment because he looks dangerous.
Definitely, he's got a lot of energy, a lot of pace down that side, and looks like he's got a bit of a trick. So, and on the other side with Jenkins Davis and Medine, he seems to have a good understanding, good versatility, as they've shown by switching positions. So there's promising stuff.
I know it's not your preferred position, but you've played wing back, haven't you? And you know what it's like. It's an interesting job, isn't it? Up and back constantly.
Definitely a very demanding position. It's one you need a lot of energy for, and it's obviously quite a lot different to the middle of the pitch. The demands are different, but no, it's a good position.
Here's Mitchell in the centre circle. Almost everybody inside the Exeter half as Argyle try and exert some pressure and find the goal that gets them level again. Rutherford again coming down the right hand side, just played the ball in. It was unintentionally crossed by Veal from Exeter trying to recover and defend. In the end, his teammates have bailed him out, and down the right hand side is played by Lovett. It was a good ball back, good area. Hampson's on his own, and he's got it, held it up, and now there's three red shirts in the middle for him to try and get towards. And as one of them, Cox was coming to the near post. It was well dealt with by Oscar Halls, getting across. He claps his hands in encouragement to his fellow Pilgrims. Although Argyle want to push forward and want to find an equaliser, they're going to have to stay alert at the other end, aren't they? Because if Exeter do break and get a third, then it's going to make the struggle even more uphill. Throw in on the right, worked short and then worked back to Johnson, who crosses high into the middle, headed down from Izagran, blocked, then twice at the second attempt. Halls tries to clear. It's a bit of an up and under, which now bounces around the edge of the Exeter penalty area. Whistle has gone. I think it was a handball. And Argyle will have a free kick. We've just played just under 20 minutes in this second half. It's Argyle 1, Exeter 2 in this FA Youth Cup first round game. The boys played along the Argyle area through Moyle and out the other end, but Argyle still have it. Again, inside comes Jenkins Davis, long by Purcell. Good stretch of Argyle possession there, under some pressure, and it's led to them getting forward.
Composure again, playing off from the back. There's a lot of pressure on the team there, but they've done very well.
Just one slip at that stage, and they're in, aren't they? And, you know, it's a bit of a fatal error, but they did tremendously well there. Here comes Mitchell stepping out from the back, through the centre. Medine turns, feints, then returns the ball to Krask, who's just sat a bit deeper.
Good
plays
pass.
it in towards Miller. Good incisive ball. Rutherford waiting for Miller to come and help him, and he has done, and he's got it in on the right hand side. Come in laterally, just waiting for a move in behind. Does a 1-2 with Crocker, hits it from the edge. Miller, and he just felt like he just maybe decelerated a little bit as he was hitting it. I don't know, but didn't have the fizz on the ball, and it goes behind for a goal kick.
Good play though, good one too. Good play with Rutherford, and it's another attempt at goal. I'm sure he'll be looking to hit the target.
I'm sure you're looking for, that's a position you're familiar with from where Miller's come from then. You're looking people to be able to play off of, aren't you? The 1-2, the bit of movement, and he had both Rutherford and Crocker working for him then. It's all about those bits of understanding, isn't it?
Definitely a bit of eye contact and understanding, so I think they had that there, and just the finish.
Down the left hand side come City again. Isiguan, good early ball in towards Cox. He's managed to turn right on the edge of the area. Good block from Argyle. And away comes Medine, and now Miller. This time doesn't get the ball into Crocker's feet. And it's to come again. They just sense that there's a bit of a gap behind Argyle, and it often comes through this man. Isiguan, good header from Mitchell, covered the right area and did the sensible thing, headed it safely. He does look a threat down this left hand side, Nelson Isiguan.
Definitely, and I think the quality of his crosses has been very, very impressive.
That one was dealt with, but it's led to a corner. Will be taken off of the left-hand side. I think it might be Veal. I think once or twice I've called Veal, called Love It when it's actually Veal, but this one I'm sure is Veal to take. Right-footed, whipped in. Out comes the goalkeeper again, and a good one-handed punch from Moyle. I'm sure that Rhys Wilmot, who's the Argyle Academy coach, goalkeeping coach these days, but has seen the progress of Michael Cooper into the first team, doing so well. Will be content with what he's seen so far from his latest protege, Lewis Moore. Did a good game in the Argyle goal tonight. Good decision making, and I can hear him from here roaring his back line up and roaring the players on. Brought Exeter rocket forward, but the flag will go up for offside. We always want the goalkeeper to be nice and loud. We're
Very commanding, isn't he?
We're in the back row of the Mayflower stand commentating on this, and we can hear him from here. Ball played through from Hoyles.
Definitely an important attribute as being a keeper.
Ball played down the channel. That should be dealt with. It'll stay in play. No, it won't actually. The flag has gone up. I thought it was just going to curl round and be okay. Argyle, I thought, were readying a second sub a few minutes ago. That doesn't seem to have materialised. I did see Neil Jusnik just pop down to just to the side of the technical area a minute or two ago, just have a little chat with Darren Way. So perhaps there's a new plan in place. It might be actually, Connor, that Argyle have responded really well to going behind, are playing well, and that they feel that the chances will come.
I think so, yeah. I think the response has been really good. Played the right way, playing good football, and I think hopefully a chance will come.
Here's Person as Argyle look to start another attack down there left.
Really comfy.
He's brought it forward. Jenkins Davis tries to come inside. It does look to me as if he's won a free kick there. Great feet again from him. He looks like he's naturally right-footed to me, so he looks like he's inclined to come inside a lot, but it's often very effective. And here he is again on the ball. Just flicks it back to Purcell. Argyle will start again. He misses one out of the back three and goes along to Halls into the feet there of the substitute Salawu, and it's out to the
Oh,
right.
well.
Rutherford, good ball in. Just needed someone to attack it. The goalkeeper was able to spot the flight. Jack Arthur and come and claim it, and he hugs it gratefully to his chest. That wasn't far away from being a fantastic ball.
Not at all. I think it was into the right area.
Just rather split the Argyle attackers, but very little fault on Rutherford there. It was a very good early ball in. Ball forward from Exeter, flicked on by Izagwan. Wins a second header as well. A tall figure down the left-hand side. This one is going to bounce out for an Argyle throw-in. 20 minutes left on the clock here. It's Argyle 1, Exeter 2 in the FA Youth Cup. Second consecutive season that there's been a Devon derby in this tournament. Last year here at Home Park, the Grecians won by a goal to nil. This year they're 2-1 up. Argyle looking to prevent a similar sort of story. But since the goal, which came 8 minutes into the second period, second goal for Exeter that is, Argyle have been lively, and I think we can see a booking here. I think we are. It was Toby Neville, the goal scorer, I think, for throwing the ball into the front row of the Lyndhurst. Gets a booking for delaying the play. Purcell looking to switch it towards Rutherford, who had to come in on it. And it falls to Izagwan. 2 men on him from an Argyle perspective. He's a bit frustrated. I think they wanted the... I don't think he said it was a foul on him, is he? I think they wanted the first free kick for Rutherford going into... I think it's Clark who's down. They didn't get one. There's a bit of physio for him. Players swamped to the side of the pitch to grab a drink and a little bit of a regroup. With just under 20 minutes to go, Connor, it feels, although the result is not, the latest score I should say, is not in Argyle's favour, it does feel like the pattern of the second half has been good. They have been pushing forward. It's about creating that one chance now.
Definitely, to get back into the game. I think the football's been good, especially since the start of the second half. I think we've been confident, but it's just a case of, obviously we need a goal, so it's important that they keep playing, keep trying to get the ball forward quickly and create the opening.
It's an unofficial drinks break as everyone takes the opportunity to not just to get rehydrated, but also to get some words on board from their respective coaches. I'm sure
it'll be a welcome breather. There's been a lot of energy out there, a lot of running.
Indeed, and I'm sure there was some words there from Darren Way, who never got to represent his hometown team, but spent many years in a Football League career with the likes of Yeovil and others.
Far, surely.
Argyle down the right-hand side. They'll draw a free kick again for Crocker.
Dangerous area.
Been a bit of a marked man, as Scott Crocker, drawn a few fouls, and now Argyle have the free kick on the right-hand side. This is almost a mirror image of the position that Exeter scored from. They scored from their left side. It's Argyle's right, but it's a great chance here for Argyle to find a way to get level. Over the ball, and Medine looking with his left foot, Miller with his right. Miller runs over it, Medine left-footed, whipped in, goalkeeper will fancy it, punches, comes to the edge, headed back in by Jenkins-Davis, and then it's cleared away again. Exeter will try and help it on via Sonny Cox, but Argyle knock it long again through Rutherford. It's again an Exeter head that gets to it, and Izagwan gets his foot on it. They'll try and hold on to this and knock it into a safe area. I feel the danger is over now. Good header from Halls, under pressure there. Medine brings it down, and then Rutherford, first touch was loose, good recovery, and it'll just about go out for an Argyle throw, and he had to battle for that a little bit. Here's Mitchell bringing it out from the back into Miller. Crass drops deep, uses the left-hand side where Person has brought himself out. Clips it into the channel, looking for the run of Salawu. He does enough there to put the defender under pressure, and it's another Argyle corner. Not been too much in the game so far, the Argyle substitute, Jamal Salawu. But he did enough there, following on from where Rhys Shirley left off, really, putting a lot of pressure on. As we ask for a new ball to come over. That's the furthest I've ever seen an official kick of football. The ball will eventually be moved over to the...
They usually throw it, don't they? Don't like to show the skills.
It's because referees have never kicked a ball in their life. I say, don't worry, I'm a referee. Ball comes in from the left-hand side, heading away at the near post. Good touch, good chance here to shoot. Oh, like a handball to me, not given. Another clearance. It's not a clearance, is it? But Exeter try and run it away. Are they going to bring enough men forward for the counter-attack? Not really. Argyle should deal with this. And it's notable that that's a centre forward seeing that ball to the right-back position, isn't it? Salawu. And he brings it forward. Looks to go into the feet of Crocker. Didn't quite get there. I was unlucky. He wasn't far away. And now Exeter with Hansen. He's pretty isolated on the left-hand side. Rutherford nicks it away from under his feet. That was a lovely tackle. Oh, he's given the ball away. Good reading of the play by Lilly. And the ball bounces around. It'll go out for a goal kick. It's returned almost to a state that we saw early on in the game, isn't it? Where the ball's a bit of a hot potato in midfield and no one can really settle down and keep hold of it. It's very, very competitive. Here's Hawes to Krask. It's fallen between two here. They need to just make sure one of them gets there. They didn't quite. I think both Purcell and Jenkins-Davis rather thought the other one was going to go for that one. It's gone out eventually for an Exeter throw, which I can bet your bottom dollar they won't take in a hurry. I don't really blame them. Throw to be taken on the right-hand side. Looks towards Hansen, who since he's come on has been a beacon to try and take it in and hold it up, and he's done it well again. But I think his ball is just a little bit beyond the player on the right-hand side, and it was. So it's a goal kick for Argyle. Let's just have a look at the clock. We've got about 13 and a half minutes of the 90 still to go. Argyle trying to find their way back into this. There still is time to find something. The ball out to the right-hand side to Rutherford. Takes it down and finds the run of Miller, or tries to find the run of Miller. Good covering from the Exeter player there. Veal has covered a lot of ground, and he had to there to stop the run coming through. You can hear the noise in the background, by the way. We're not under mortar fire. It's the it's the fireworks being let off around the city this evening. Rutherford's throw goes back to Hawes. Is he going to cross from deep? There's not many in there, but that's not a bad ball in towards the near post. Good header away. Back in from Miller. Two Exeter players go for the same ball, but they do manage to conjure it clear. It'll fall to Krask, and now Purcell. Krask demands it again inside his centre circle. Got several Exeter players around him, tries to find the ball through to Medine, but rather try to force it. And now Exeter will try and come away again down the left-hand side with Izigwan. He's probably been trying to invite the foul here, but he's run a long way in the end. It's a rare poor cross from him, because he's gone behind the goal.
Really gets them up the pitch, doesn't he? Got great energy, great speed, and seems to dribble with the ball really well.
I just felt then he was. I'm not saying he was by any stretching the rules, but I think he was looking for someone to tackle him there, wasn't he? He was expecting someone to hold him back, and the Argyle lads did a good job of just shielding him rather than diving in.
Yeah, definitely under good pressure from the defence. Great pass again from Brandon.
Argyle could have had a free kick there from the referee, and they might have even preferred it because they've still got the ball, but they're being pushed up the park. Here's Halls into Miller, and then back to Mitchell. Miller again, just about gets there, playing with fire a little bit here, Argyle, but still keep it. Halls fisted it forward towards Crocker. He can't quite find the flick on. And here's Iguan again. This time his touch was slightly off. And it goes out for a throw-in. Quick reminder that if Argyle are able to get their equalising goal, this game is set for extra time and then penalties. We've got kind of used to these days, a lot of fixtures going straight to pens, but this is an FA competition, and they'll tend to keep their values, so it'll be extra time if level. Argyle will take that at the moment because they're 2-1 down, and we're approaching the final 10 minutes. To throw in to Exeter. Medine thought he'd earned a throw-in of his own, and he's not very happy about it. Exeter will be delighted because it means they can just run the clock down a wee bit with just over 10 minutes to go here. And it's actually City that are going to make the next change by the look of it. Eli Collins is stripped and ready to come on. It's not going to happen yet. I'm going to wait for this throw to be taken, and down the line it goes. Flicked on. Purcell blocks it, but it's another Exeter throw. They'll be happy with this, won't they? To just slow this game down a little bit.
Definitely, as you can see there, a slow jog to the ball, letting it run.
Entering the game, part of the game which we would tend to refer to these days as game management, isn't it? If you're in a winning position with 10 minutes to go, you do anything you can to make sure that you retain that lead, especially if you're under a bit of pressure.
Definitely, it's important to try and keep the ball in play as much as possible.
Hansen gets beyond Mitchell. I think the referee could give a free kick here. He hasn't. He's let it go. Another ball comes across. Goalkeeper deals with it at the near post. It felt that Mitchell was holding on to Hansen, but the referee played the advantage. Here's Miller. He's just about got it away from Veal, tracking him back. Then clips it down the line towards Crocker. Bit of miscommunication. Crocker stopped the run. Now cleared away from the back by Pond in towards Cox. Veal tries to smash it forward. Didn't really connect with that one. It's like one of my 5-irons. That scuffed into the ground and bounced along the fairway. And taken out from the back is Halls. Tries to play it around the corner. It's deflected out for a throw in, and I think we'll have the substitution now. And Eli Collins is going to come on for Sonny Cox, who I don't feel has been as much in the game in the second half as he was in the first, but I thought he rather caught the eye from an attacking perspective in the first half for Exeter. I think he'll feel like it's a good night's job done. He played well in the first half, got the goal, and he's done pretty well.
Definitely, I think he was effective first half, wasn't he? Second half, I think credit to Argyle because he kept him quiet.
Mitchell goes forward, looks for Salawu, didn't get it, but now Jenkins Davis again comes inside off the left-hand side. Played back out to Purcell, who just fills in where the gap is and then finds Jenkins Davis. Nice play by Argyle down this left-hand side. And now Medine plays it round the corner. Can Jenkins Davis get there first? He couldn't. It was a good idea. And that quartet, when Purcell just moves forward to join in, plus Krask and Medine coming over, they interwork well, don't they, between them?
Definitely, they've got a good understanding, haven't they? All comfortable on the ball, and I think they seem to understand each other's game very well. Just that time didn't quite happen.
It's the old trot to one side of the 6-yard area to take the goal kick for Jack Arthur.
Game management again.
There you go. He'll knock it long. Will Arthur gets to around about the halfway line. Miller wins the header. Crocker didn't quite win it, but it got hit against the back of his head, and then Miller tries to chase it up. And there'll be another Argyle throw down the right-hand side. Rutherford to take it. Throws it back to Halls, then to Mitchell. Thinks about going along to Purcell, and then tries to clip it infield towards Krask. Just about got a toe on it. Just about keeps it going. Medine. Jenkins Davis. Medine again. It's an Argyle throw-in. Wasn't quite sure which way that was going to get given, but it gets given for the Greens. Jenkins Davis to take the throw. Just looking for the movement with Medine. Couldn't quite get it to him. Krask picks up an important ball in the middle. Medine again tries to turn. And get himself outside into a crossy position. Does enough, I think. Deflected, and it's a corner. Sometimes you're just going to make the best of that area. You can't necessarily get the ball in, but he did enough there.
Definitely, it's another good opportunity to get a nice delivery into the box and hopefully cause a threat.
Argyle do have another substitution to make shortly. It's Oscar Massey. But Argyle are going to take the corner first. Fizzed in towards the far post. It's a good header from an Exeter perspective.
Handball.
Sent back in. Calls for handball.
Surely handball.
Penalty for the second time this evening. It's an Argyle penalty, this time for the ball being handled. Hopefully we'll get a replay of that in just a second to get another look. Connor Grant to my left shouted penalty instantly. Let's have a look. It comes in. The first header is flicked away by Iziguan. It's returned. There's the ball in, and then yes, you can see it. That's a perfect bit of well done on the replay. Our team there. Penalty be taken. Struck right-footed low into the corner. This time it was Charlie Miller.
Very good penalty again.
He quickly stepped up to take that one. Interesting that they've changed the penalty taker, Argyle. Scott Crocker is still on the pitch.
Yeah, I thought he would have fancied it again, but It's worked well in the end. Great penalty by Charlie.
And you can see there from the replay from behind the goal.
Keeper's gambled early.
Well, both penalties have been taken with excellent poise.
Especially at this stage in the game. Great pressure on it.
With just over 5 minutes of the 90 to go. For the second time this evening, Argyle have levelled from the spot. And it's 2-2. We are 5 minutes away from playing extra time. There's still time for either side to find something. Here's Lovett trying to turn it around the corner, cleared away, headed back in by Veal. It's a really good header. Here's Collins, the substitute, trying to get some space, edge of the box, trying to, what he wants on his right foot. He has to tee it back. Good ball released wide. Left-hand side is well, another decent ball in, but it's a good header away by Halls, who's done so on several occasions. Shot comes back in, deflected. Exeter have a corner. They've reacted well here to Argyle levelling. Notable that the first thing after the penalty was given, or converted anyway, was that Oscar Massey put his sweatshirt and bib back on and went back to warming up. Argyle are not going to make that change. They might need some fresh legs for an extra half an hour. And who is it that's picked up that knock? It's Krask, isn't it? Finley Krask has just picked up a knock on the edge of the box, but he's carried on without treatment. Argyle want his presence in the area to defend this corner. Once again, in it comes right-footed from Exeter, swung in. Lots of bodies inside the 6-yard box. They've won the header, but it's gone wide, and it's a goal kick.
So you all thought that was in. Looked like from this angle.
From our angle, we're actually the opposite angle commentating this to the camera, so I'm just looking at the replay now. It's headed on. You can see it wasn't as close as we thought it was. But for a second, from our angle, that looked damaging. It was actually, I think, one Exeter player heading it onto his teammate, hence the slightly skew whiff angle that it went at. Anyway, Argyle do survive that. That was a chance for City. And with 3.5 minutes plus any added on of the 90, it remains 2-2. Short area there, lots of players very, very tightly in it. Leads to an Argyle throw in. The commitment that's been on show all night from both teams, it has to be said. Excellent. I suppose it should be a prerequisite, shouldn't it? If you can't get up for this, this kind of get a local derby in the FA Youth Cup, then you're never going to be able to do it, are you? But that still doesn't mean that we can't offer praise where it's due. Now, is there a little bit of quality to just cap this game off? Argyle have another throwing in a good advanced position on the left-hand side.
Great pace.
It'll be Jenkins Davis to take the throw. Just tried to get Slower into turn and he couldn't get there. But Mitchell, good awareness, plays it back out to Purcell. And then into the feet of Medine, takes it in and turns away.
I think Medine's looked very comfortable in the middle since he's changed there.
That's been a really good, I mean, I don't know what the reasoning for it was, but it's come out really well, isn't it? Both of those players have been effective in their change positions. Not that they weren't in the first place, to be fair, but they've both improved since
both showed good versatility, and Jenkins Davis, and they've done really well.
Played down the left-hand side. Here go Exeter. Have they got one more in them? Good defending by Halls, wins it. Going to go out for a City throw, but good work by Oscar Halls. 43 minutes on the clock of this second half, just under 2 minutes to go in the period. Hansen brings it down but loses the control, and Argyle clear it down their right. Exeter get hold of it, and they go for the interesting flick from the left back Clark. It just about won them the throw in. Now he gets it back again, does Clark. Decent ball inside, looking for Veal, and he spreads it across to Ellis Johnson. Tries to play it down the right. Might have gone out of play, but Purcell didn't take any chances. It was probably the right thing to do, and he intercepts. Exeter finishing off quite well here, having looked like they were going to win it. Argyle equalising, but Exeter finishing slightly the stronger here in the final few minutes. Argyle will be grateful to get themselves on the ball here with Halls. Didn't get the ball round the corner enough. City block it and will try and come forward again, but that was a tired looking ball from Clark, and it's out of play. I say tired looking, but it looks like both of these teams are going to have to gear themselves up for another 30 minutes of play. There is still time, about 35 seconds plus injury time for either side to find something. But as it stands, we're going to extra time. Halls, left-footed, up in the air, headed forward by Lilly. It's bouncing around again. The long legs of Izagwan get hold of it, but Miller does enough to come away with it. Good ball from Crocker. Rutherford will slide him through. Argyle might have a bit of a sting in the tail here. Crocker needs to bring the ball with him. Did brilliantly well, because his first touch was not the best at all, but he recovered really, really well. Did enough
area to get a ball in.
And managed to get himself into a position where he was fouled. This could well be the last chance of the game. I would expect to see, if the fourth official's on the ball, a number going up before this is taken. He might be as gripped as we are.
It's been the story all night, hasn't it? Crocker running in behind, causing the defence mayhem.
So we're going to have the free kick taken. Left-footed from Medine towards the far post. There's no one there. Exeter can let this go. It was a shame. It just didn't find anyone in particular. It goes out for a goal kick. We've gone past the 90-minute mark. I was expecting to see the number go up.
Seems to have gone by really quickly, second half.
It's going to be another Exeter sub. Maybe that's why we've not got the number going up, because he was getting ready to do the substitution. So this time it is Joe Ragg, after my false alarm earlier on. He's coming on for Frank Lovett. We've played just over a minute past the 90. We've got no real indication of how much time the fourth is going to add on, because he's showing us a pretty board at the moment that doesn't have a number on it. Try again. There we go. Well, he's put up 3, but he's put up 3 a minute after the 45 is elapsed, so I don't know if it's 3 in total or 3 from now. We'll keep you posted. Either way, it might not matter, because Salawi's got forward for Argyle into the box. Difficult angle, gets it across the goalkeeper. And to be fair to Jack Arthur, he withdrew his right hand. He had his angles right there, I think, the keeper. He knew that was wide, but a good burst from Argyle.
Very good burst, and showed great pace again, and unlucky with the finish. It was a very tight angle, but done really well to create the opening.
It was about all he could do. As you say, it was a difficult angle,
really,
but if you can see from that replay, the players arriving are a bit behind. He's entitled to have a crack, isn't he?
Definitely.
Goal kick to be taken from Arthur. 2-2. Argyle 2, Exeter 2. In the Devon derby in the FA Youth Cup. It's been an entertaining game, a game really fitting of the situation that it's in, being the prestige of this trophy and the nature, the history of the derbies. Both teams have shown excellent commitment. It's been a game played in good spirit, and it's finished, well, it's looked like it's going to finish 2-2.
Greatly.
Flick there from Salawi, and then Crocker again getting involved. Once again, commitment shown, as pleasing as anything else we've seen. Clark down the line for Exeter, goes over Halls, but he'll get another chance to clear it. In fact, it was Crass that got it clear. Medine mishits, but Crass tidies up for him, and it's headed forward in towards Salawi. Didn't quite get it under control. Exeter try and break down the right-hand side. This is Ragg, the substitute, fresh-legged. Purcell deals with him. Good tackle right in front of the linesman, who is happy with the challenge.
Good defending.
And then he wins the throw-in. All-round good play there from Brandon Purcell. It's just a slight delay as an Argyle player goes down with a bit of cramp. Understandable.
Yeah, to be expected in a game like this.
I think it's Finley Crask who's down, just getting his toes pressed back by Ethan Mitchell. Whatever newfangled regimes you'll come up with for medical natures and physiotherapists, you can't beat a good pushback of the toe when you've got the cramp, can you?
Always seems to work.
Long ball forward from Exeter, dealt with from Mitchell, heads it intelligently out to the right to try and find Rutherford. I don't think he kept it in. It was a hard ask, to be fair, but Mitchell did do the right thing, getting it out to the angle. Clark will look to throw it down the line. We've had 3 minutes, we've had 3.5 minutes in fact. So that 3 minutes that we saw shown must have been 3 from that point. If you follow me, it matters not, because there is the whistle. And we will have extra time, and if we need it, a penalty shootout. Didn't have anywhere to be, did you, this evening? Nothing
No,
on the TV?
Not at all. Really enjoying the game.
So,
It's only Champions League on the telly.
well, I haven't got BT Sport anyway,
Rubbish,
so
rubbish.
I'd rather be watching this anyway.
Of course.
In fact, I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll give some updates on some scores in a minute for everyone. But just before we do so, extra time, Connor. It's a different sort of mindset. You kind of budget in your mind for 90, but sometimes you have to have another 30. This will be tough for these boys, won't it? They're going to be fit young lads. That's one thing. But you put yourself through the 90 minutes, you're going to be sharp. It's a different sort of fitness, isn't it, carrying on into 120 minutes of football?
Definitely, I think this is where mentality and character comes into it, especially as young players. You obviously, the amount of energy they've put into that game was so high, and now it'll be a case of trying to keep the mentality, trying not to make any mistakes, and keep playing the way they're playing.
Right, we can give you some scores then from the Champions League, starting with a couple of results from earlier on. And Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's time is not getting any better at Manchester United. They lost 2-1 at Başakşehir earlier on today. And another result was Zenit St. Petersburg 1, Lazio 1. In other games, Barcelona 1, Dynamo Kiev 0. Most of these are half times. Messi with a goal there for Barcelona. Chelsea are 2-0 up against Rennes. And what Chelsea have in common with Argyle tonight is that they've scored 2 penalties. Timo Werner scoring both of them for Chelsea, and Rennes have had Dalbert sent off as well. So going well for a different English club in Europe. It's Club Brugge 0, Dortmund 3, with Hazard and Haaland on the score sheet there for Dortmund. Ferencváros 0, Juventus 1, Alvaro Morata with that goal. And Leipzig, who took a bit of a battering at the hands of United a few weeks ago, are drawing 1-1 with Paris Saint-Germain. Angel Di Maria has scored and missed a penalty for PSG. And it is also Sevilla 1, Krasnodar 2. Krasnodar went 2-0 up, and Sevilla have had Navas sent off after Rakitic got one back for them. So that's your Champions League scores. In the Championship, it's finished Reading 0, Preston 3. That's an interesting turnaround. Preston are fantastic away from home, but not so good at home. Watford 2, Stoke 2 is in the final minutes. Birmingham 1, Wickham 0, Derby 0, QPR 0, Nottingham Forest 1, Coventry 0, and Rotherham 0, Luton 0. Most of those games are early in the second half. And there is an FA Cup tie in qualification as well tonight. It's Stockport 2, Chesterfield 0. And after that lovely time filling, we're back to carry on with the rest of tonight's game. Exeter will get us underway in extra time. So it's been a long night. We're going to have at least another half an hour of it, but I'm perfectly happy. It's been very, very enjoyable from our perspective. We're hoping that the young Pilgrims can fight once again, and this time get themselves in front and do enough. We don't have to go through a shootout. If we do, we'll see how we get on. Ball down the left-hand side, finds Izagwan, but the flag is up. And it'll be a free kick to Argyle. Moyle to take the kick. Goes down the right, looks towards Crocker. Bouncing around, bit of spin on that, had to be headed by Miller, who took the second penalty, scored it very well. Ball bounces in towards Hansen, who's done a really nice job since he's come on. Charlie Hansen of holding the ball up, but Exeter do lose it through Medine. Good feet again from Medine, gets out to the left-hand side towards Jenkins Davis, and again he's more inclined to come inside than outside when he tries to get down the outer.
Always positive with the ball, isn't he? Trying to make things happen.
Yeah, he's certainly a player that's in my old days when I used to be a full-back, he's someone I wouldn't want to have defended against. I'd hated players who could play with the ball like that. Here come Exeter through the middle. Good challenge from Miller, as far as I'm concerned. Yes, it was given that way. I was slightly worried it was a bit of a modern-day foul, that kind of tackle, but the ref allowed it to go. Here's a chance now for Salawu into the box. Gets beyond one or two, but in the end
corner?
Gave himself a bit too much to do. On the Grant Prize corner, Salawu has a similar sort of outlook. Don't know if we're going to see that again.
Touched that just before it went out.
Referee hasn't seen it that way, so it'll be a free kick, a goal kick, I should say, to Exeter. Just a couple of minutes played. If you are joining us very, very late this evening on iFollow, then you're in luck. We're still going. It's extra time here at Home Park. Argyle 2, Exeter 2. We'd like to take this opportunity indeed for thanking you all for tuning in this evening. The FA Youth Cup is usually a very well attended fixture at Home Park. And obviously we all know the reasons why you can't be with us. And we know that the Green Army would have turned out in force had they had the opportunity. But wherever you are watching this, your support still means a lot to these lads, these young Pilgrims burgeoning into greens of the future. And I'm sure they're doing you all proud at the moment. Their level of skill and commitment has been commendable. This has been a really good game by both sides. And it's not nearly done yet, plenty to go. Good header from Neville, who was the second Exeter goal scorer. And the ball goes forward towards Jenkins Davis. Now, I rather thought that was either a foul or an Exeter throw.
Yeah.
And it was given as an Argyle throw. It definitely came off Jenkins Davis last, but I thought he might have been impeded in doing so. Anyway, the officials have given a throw into Argyle, and they work it reasonably well, although Medine has it taken off of him by a good piece of play by Michael Lilly. In towards Hanson, and he helps it on. Good covering by Rutherford. Had to get back there. I'm sure the legs are feeling it a little bit chasing back, but he did a good job. Free kick has been given in the centre of the park for Exeter.
Important for the young lads to keep a good shape. You don't want to get too distracted.
There's two things can happen here. Obviously, as you're getting tired, there can be physical mistakes might be made, but there's also mental ones. You've got to keep your concentration, haven't you? Deep into the game, the last thing you want to do 118 minutes in is do something silly. So that's part of the game as well, isn't it?
Definitely, and a great learning experience for the young lads.
Yeah, it might well be that there's some players out that have never got beyond this stage before in a game. I don't know how much extra time and 90-minute football is played in lower league age groups these days, and I don't think it should be too much, to be quite honest. And so this is a interesting part of the development, as we've been talking about all night. It's all about learning. It'd be nice to get a win as well. Ball is in the centre of midfield for Exeter. Nice little ball over the top and a good piece of defending from Crash, tracking back. He skied the clearance a little bit, but Argyle will keep on it, and it's well won by Jenkins Davis. Plays it back to Purcell, down the channel towards Salawu. Couldn't bring it under, and Exeter will get hold of it. That was nearly a lovely little ball through from Exeter, but a brilliant piece of defending from Crass. That was vital, wasn't it? Now he's played the ball out to Rutherford, who's been fouled. And Argyle with a free kick just inside Exeter territory. We've played 5 minutes of extra time already. Free kick to be taken, flicked in towards Salawu, wins the header, looking to find the loose one. Unfortunately, he was on his own, and Alfie Pond did a good job of just nodding back to his keeper. Just a reminder of the substitutes that we may see. Exeter have made 3. As far as I'm aware, I'm not sure if you're allowed any extra ones in the extra time period of this particular competition. Hopefully we'll be able to find that out, but I don't believe that's to be the case. And so Exeter have made 3. They've brought on Eli Collins, Charlie Hanson and Joe Ragg. If they are allowed any more, then they've got Andrew Sowden, Zeph Collins and Gabriel Billington. But Argyle have only brought on so far Jamal Salawu, so they could ask Zach Baker, Ali Mansouri, Carlo Garside, Oscar Massey, Jeffrey Forkuru and Jack Endicott to make an appearance at some stage. Massey looked like he was set to come on at 2-1, but was told to stand down at that point when it came to 2-2. So Darren Way may well yet be asked to go to his bench, but thus far everyone that's on the park has done him proud. They'll deserve their chance to carry on if they're okay. Ball goes out of play between the two dugouts for another Argyle throw in. Taken quickly by Jenkins Davis when he has the chance, back to Purcell. And then to Ethan Mitchell. Been impressed with the poise that the 3 Argyle central defenders have shown on the ball in particular.
I think they've been very comfortable, very progressive with the passing, and they've built a lot of the attacks.
City have a throw on the right hand side. Johnson will look to go long towards Hanson, I would think. But that rather slipped out of his hands. Argyle clear. Medine pushed to the ground. No foul, says the referee. And now Ragg down the side. This time a free kick will be given against Purcell. I tend to agree, that looked a foul, but I rather thought that Medine was hindered in the first place. What did you think, Connor?
Yeah, I think that myself. I think Brandon's just, I think it is a foul in the end, but I do think Medine got fouled as well.
Free kick on the right hand side for Exeter could be dangerous if the delivery is decent. In it comes, right footed, it's
Great
into a
delivery.
dangerous area.
What a delivery that was, and it's a great header by Ethan Mitchell. Had to deal with that.
Always hard, isn't it, when the ball's bounced first and you've got to
Great
try and
area.
get something on it. I suspect he had a decision to make
Surprised
there.
none of the Exeter players were there to attack that.
Yeah, fair point, because it was a... I'd have thought as a centre forward, that's the kind of ball you want, isn't it? Near post, and you can dive across in front of it. Another delivery, corner, right footed, in it comes, well taken.
The keeper's dealt with
by Lewis Moyle. That is
very well.
Yeah, that is 4 or 5 times we've seen those corners come in, and he has
He's
been almost faultless. And look at this as well. It's a great kick forwards. Argyle are in here from the goal kick. Down the right-hand side, Jenkins Davis, he's been playing off the left, but he's got this on the right. Edge of the box is Miller, if he can find him. He's dug out across to the near post, taken by Jack Arthur. Exeter will be satisfied with that, and now they can come. This game suddenly opens up a bit.
Energy for this stage of the game.
Terrific, isn't it? Here comes Bragg. He should be relatively fresh. He's a substitute. And he's got Argyle backing off a little bit. He's just inside the area. He's tried to cut inside. Good challenge from Krask. Really well won. Don't fool yourself. This referee's given 2 free penalties. If one happens the other way, he'll give it. Here's Crocker down the left-hand side. Holds it, gets inside. Hasn't got too many with him. Makes the right decision. Comes back to Jenkins Davis. Just for the first time, there's a little bit of a build-up of lactic acid there. You could see it all in one go, as it was a bit slow in happening, but it's okay. Argyle have retained it, and Medine gets down the line. Can he keep that in? Not quite, says the assistant. You're just going to get that now, aren't you? You're going to get those bursts of energy that are a little bit harder to recover from suddenly.
Definitely, I think demands have been so good in this game, and I think, yeah, you'll start to see that bit of tiredness creeping in, which is obviously when mistakes tend to happen, so that's where you've got to keep your focus.
Ball thrown on, flicked by Hansen, but cleared away by Mitchell. Lovely take from Jenkins Davis. Tries to get down the left-hand side. Didn't have the pace to get beyond, but held on to the ball.
Foul, surely.
It looked like he was held down there, didn't it? But he wasn't given.
Great feet again.
Just to try and launch down the right.
Great to watch.
Doesn't come off. Yeah, he's just seems to, he's one of those players that he looks like he's going to lose it, and then just suddenly brings it back in, and he gets hold of it. Very
Doesn't have the
encouraging.
greatest stature, but what he lacks in that, he makes up in other areas.
Speaking of touch, great touch by Crocker. Oh, the referee's given a free kick against him in the end for holding, but the touch bringing that ball down in the first place was absolutely tremendous. Credit to the defender though, that stuck at his task and earned a free kick. Just over 10 minutes played in this first period of extra time. Penalties start to loom. How many shootouts have you been involved with over your career, Connor?
That's a good question.
Not necessarily taking one, but at least been in a game that's gone to one.
I'm not sure I've been in one professionally.
Not even in the academy or anything like that? Just not really come up?
I think in the youth team, yeah. In the youth team I've been involved in a couple, but not since turning professional, I don't think.
I was just going to say, what sort of mentality is it? Does it come into your, if you're in an extra time situation, or it's a game that you know is going to get a pens, does it enter your mind at all until it actually happens? You just carry on with your game until the point where it comes?
We had an attack.
Chance here from the left-hand side from Exeter, goes all the way over.
Touch.
Did the keeper get a touch on it? He might well have done. It's a corner.
We actually had a youth cup game where we went to extra time against Port Vale, and luckily we won that in extra time. But yeah, you're right. As you're playing this, the extra time, it does creep into your mind a little bit.
That's a little bit away yet. I shouldn't get too ahead of ourselves. There is certainly time for either side to win this before that point. Exeter have a corner. They've had plenty of them tonight. It'll be taken from the right-hand side. Jack Veal looks favourite to take it. Does so, right-footed, hangs it up to the far post. It's headed, it's onto the bar. Argyle just about get it away. I think it was Hansen. He's got his hands to his head. They've still got a chance to return this, Exeter. Veal down the right. Good persistence from Crocker, stopping the cross. In the end, it does get crossed in. It finds Veal again. I think it's going to be another corner. No, stopped from being so by Crocker. It's a throw-in. We might see that corner again. And it comes. Veal's take. I think it was Hansen that leapt highest. It was, and it's off the bar. That was a chance.
A very good chance. I think he had a lot of time to see it, didn't he?
There's another good delivery from Veal. Exeter's delivery from the corner has been good. And they've won the ball back here. Veal again doing the work. Lilly trying to clip it out to the left-hand side. Good positioning from Rutherford. Started in the right spot there and won it, and did so again. He's unlucky not to get that one. That just fell nicely to Izagwan, who plays it in towards the near post, and it's a goal. It's come all the way through. And Exeter have got a goal. It's been turned in by Joe Ragg. Rutherford was, I thought he was going to get there. He just got beaten in the 50-50 in the end, and it's a lovely, lovely ball in.
It's that man again, isn't it?
From Izagwan.
His delivery's been really good, and he's put it right into the corridor, a dangerous area.
Oh, it's such a difficult area, because I think the goalkeeper
doesn't know whether to come or...
He's potentially expecting, I think it's Hansen that goes towards the near post and dives.
Yeah, I think you'd have to credit the delivery there.
Most definitely. Most definitely a fantastic ball in. And Joe Ragg, who from Argyle's perspective is a bit of a toe rag, but he's got in at the far post and has scored the goal that puts Exeter in front just before the half-time of extra time. I shouldn't have got ahead of myself with talk of penalties, but there is plenty of time for Argyle to come back into this. They've done it twice already. They've fallen behind. They need to do it a third time. Purcell back into the Argyle half to Mitchell. We're into the final minutes of the first half of extra time. Paul's played it forward. The flag's gone up on the side from the linesman, and it might be that Exeter can just while away these few seconds to the half-time break in this period. Now, last time Argyle were a goal behind, they were looking to bring on Oscar Massey. We'll see if Darren Way makes another decision to bring anyone off. You feel it would be very harsh on whoever came off, really, because they've all put their shift in. Forward goes the ball. Good header from Mitchell. Rutherford gets a toe on it. So does Miller. Exeter do win it back. We've played the 15 minutes of the first half here. We'll see if anything gets added on. City have it 30 yards out. Played out to the right-hand side and held up by Hansen. Good feet into Ragg, who tries to turn. Purcell sticks to his task and wins it. And confidently calls for the throw-in, gets it, but it won't be taken because it's half-time in extra time. Well, we've talked already about good times to score. There's never a bad time to score one if you're in extra time, but Exeter have got their noses in front. But when you fall behind, Connor, there's always, a doubt in your mind of some sort. But the fact that Argyle have come from behind twice already, hopefully that will give them confidence that they can do it once again.
Yeah, definitely looks like they're going to possibly make a change here as well, but there's certainly positives to take in terms of the response to the last two goals, so you just got to keep composed, keep trying to create chances, and as we've shown already, it can happen.
So both sides by the touchline having a little chat. It used to be that extra time was always a straight turnaround, but these days there's usually a little bit of a minor interval in between. Referees seem to just...
I think Oscar Massey might be coming on here.
Yeah, just allow it to continue. Yeah, you're right, there's certainly some activity coming on down here, isn't there? So we might be seeing a further Argyle change. It's a very tense evening, and I think that tension is almost raised by the fact that there's nobody here. I know that sounds very strange in some ways, but if there was people here, there'd be 1,000 or so making a bit of a buzz and nipping off to the loo and doing whatever. But because it's so empty, so still, in some ways it actually ramps up the tension that little bit more here.
Yeah, definitely. And at this stage of the game, you could do with some fans to raise the atmosphere and help the lads.
That's very, very true. Have you noticed that in games? I bet it's certain points of a game, isn't it, where you're expecting either a roar because of a bad decision or someone to shout you on in the final 10 minutes. That's when it must make a difference, I would have thought.
Definitely, it's just strange, really. Honestly, it's difficult to describe, but it's missed. And in terms of goals, scoring goals, you're expecting the adulation, but it's a little bit different.
The substitution that we anticipated has occurred. On comes Oscar Massey. Off has come William Jenkins Davis. I can only imagine because his legs are giving out
Ran
because
himself into the ground.
he's called Jenkins Davis. He's run with the power of two players tonight. He's put in a fantastic shift down the left-hand side. Jeremiah Medine will go back to the left-hand side where he started the game. And we'll see exactly where Massey fits into the equation. He's an attacking player. In fact, Medine hasn't gone out to the left-hand side. It's going to be Salawu who goes onto the left flank. My apologies. I just kind of assumed that it would be the player that started in that position filling back in, but he hasn't done so. But Massey will go into a forward area as Argyle search for an equalising goal. Into the second period of extra time. Thrown down the line by Clark, headed back with interest by Rutherford. But City come again, throwing it down the line towards Hansen. Tries to bring it in, but loses out. It's an Argyle thrown deep in their own territory. Rutherford is waiting for Crocker to get a bit closer so they can have something to aim at. There's the flick on, there is Crocker. Gets away from his man, still showing pace at this stage. Brilliant play by Crocker. Good ball from Medine as well. Into the fresh Massey, gets into the box. He's got a player at the far post. He went for the near. And it's going to be a corner. I think the goalkeeper might just have got a touch on it.
Great pass from Medine, and he's got a shot away quite early. Might have wanted to go across the face of the goal, but the corner coming up.
You just see from the replay that he always had eyes for goal there. Did Oscar Massey. Salawu was at the far post.
If you go across the goal and you drag it, maybe there's a tapping at the far post.
Corner to be taken. Medine left-footed from the right flank, gets it to the near post, but didn't get enough elevation on it. He will have another go though, because the Exeter clearance was as tired as the delivery. And when I make those kind of comments, that is, by the way, absolutely no slight on these lads that have almost run themselves into the ground. Here comes Medine again. Again, it's towards the near post, doesn't beat the first man, but comes to the edge of the box. Ram back in, good save. Still a chance though, comes across. Oh, the flag's gone up anyway. The shot from the edge of the box, was it Miller that hit it? I think it was Charlie Miller that got the strike on it. Here comes the replay, the header away, falls nicely. It was Miller just outside the box, hit it into the ground and nicely, but as Halls was coming towards it, he did just slip as he was about to try and play it back in, but he was flagged offside. Not sure about that.
Strike.
It was a good hit, wasn't it?
Fell to him in a nice area.
And a good save as well from the goalkeeper, because he would have seen that quite late, I imagine. Ball up in the air, needs to be dealt with by Halls and Rutherford. Coming across is Mitchell. Good strength though from Hansen, who's shown that a lot since he's come on. Good feet too. Tries to play it to Izagwan, but that was loose. Can Argyle break from here? Long ball into the channel, looking for the pace of Crocker and the fresh legs of Massey, who's going to get there. Massey keeps it. It's a dangerous challenge by Veal. Massey chose to turn away from him. Ball crossed in. Exeter picking up on the edge of the box, away by Lilly. And that's twice already in the 3 minutes or so since Massey came on that Argyle have looked to use his fresh legs. Medine round the corner towards Salawu. Can he get a ball in? Left-footed, whipped in, but sliced and behind the goal. It does feel already in the second period of extra time that the emphasis is going to be on if Argyle can get Exeter turned, if Massey's fresh legs can have an impact. They already have.
Definitely, they're throwing everything at it, and you can see already that he's going to be a threat in the second half.
It's been a long time to
get
this back into play
as well from the centre half as Massey was about to cross the ball.
He anticipated a block or something, didn't he?
Yeah,
but if Massey had turned inside rather than outside, then he could have gone over. Would a referee be brave enough to give 3 penalties? I suppose if it happens, it happens. Goal kick headed by Medine, battling midfield. Good header by Crass going backwards, and then Medine over the top. Off goes Salawu again. He's obviously got that striker's instinct. Goalkeeper does really well coming out of his area to head clear, and it finds Massey, who runs it into the opposition half. Purcell doesn't fall for a little bit of trickery from Ragg, but it is out for an Exeter throw, and they're not going to do it in a hurry. Ellis Johnson to take the throw. Just over 10 minutes remaining in the second period of extra time. Chance to cross from the right hand side here for Exeter. It's short of the near post, goes out and behind for a goal kick. If you are just joining us this evening, where on earth have you been all night? It's been a great game here at Home Park. It's Argyle 2, Exeter 3. Argyle are pushing to try and find that equalising goal. We are in the second period of extra time after the 90 minutes finished 2-2. But Argyle have never given up. They've come back from a goal down on 2 occasions. They're looking to do so again. Can they find their way back into this? Ball cleared away from Exeter, goes out for a throw-in. Rutherford to take it. It's pinched a few yards there. Yeah, the referee spotted it, unfortunately. It's thrown back to Halls. Mitchell will go along to, I was going to say he's going along to Purcell's in space, but he chooses to go in along himself. Mitchell goes towards Massey, who goes down. It's another free kick. Enough movement that the Exeter defender had to halt him in some way. And down he goes. It's another Argyle free kick in a good position on the right hand side. Miller's over it, Medina's over it. Everyone forward bar Rutherford, who is just inside the centre circle. There's a player, Salawu, who's level with the cross, but here comes the ball in. Goalkeeper comes for it, gets something on it, and they half slice it clear. Salawu heads it back forward. Exeter with a good header from their skipper Veal. Little fall for Rutherford. Exeter trying to get their back line up the pitch. Rutherford calm, looks to try and pick something out. It goes up forwards towards Crocker. It bounces around. Massey tries to pick up the loose one. And Exeter just about come away with it. Clark long. Massey was trying to stop the ball forward, and he probably did enough to put the player off. Argyle with a throw in. They've still got a spring in their step. Rutherford looking to try and launch it down the line to get Massey running again. It's going to be a throw in. That's an advanced Argyle all the way up the side of the pitch. He stayed down, the defender having cleared that. Rutherford takes the throw in. The referee blows the whistle. We're going to have to halt the play. Again, I think it's the dreaded cramp for who's the defender. I think it's Pond that's gone down, so we'll probably end up having a couple of minutes added on. Where are we now on the clock front? Let's have a look. We've played just over 7 minutes of the 15. I anticipate we'll have 1 or 2 added on at the end, but Argyle would like to get it done before that, get that equalising goal on the board. Throwing from Rutherford to Miller, takes one touch, then crosses. Goalkeeper under a bit of pressure, but he catches it well. Miller tried to get it in nice and early, but he didn't really get the swerve on the ball, the outswing that he would have liked to have. And in the end, it was picked up by Arthur, who is content to run it to the edge of his box. Wants to pump this one forward. He puts it down and clips it. Mitchell is underneath it alongside Hansen. Hansen put him off, and Exeter have managed to get hold of it. Mitchell, the sliding challenge, gets an important toe on it. And in fairness to Veal, an excellent block from him. He's led by example in the centre of Exeter's midfield tonight. Throw in by Rutherford. Halls, Mitchell, back to Halls again. Exeter still pressing to try and stop Argyle getting through. Up towards Massey, didn't win it. It bounces around. It's flicked on, not very far. Crass can help it on. Veal's header is going to fall between Massey and Crocker. They almost left it to one another. And the next to partially clear. Crass's first touch gets away from him. He's chasing valiantly to try and stop Rag getting anywhere. And in the end gets the toe on it. Rag still gets away. Gets the cross in. It's well taken again by Moyle. And he's in a position where he could maybe get Argyle going again. Rolls it out to Miller. Needs a runner in front of him. Just rolled away from him, didn't it? Just Miller as he was just a little bit tired. I think you're just expecting to be able to have that acceleration in 100 odd minutes in. It's just not there, is it? Unlucky. Throw into Exeter. Max Clark down the line towards Hansen. Lovely first touch, holds it up, and a good play as well to get it out to Iziguan. Gets the cross in. We just wonder whether or not they could have looked to just held the ball a bit more there, Exeter. Did they try and keep it in the corner rather than crossing balls in? No. I think it's gone down rather easily there as Iziguan tried to buy that one. Referee
A lot of
unimpressed.
tired legs out there, which is to be expected.
Absolutely. Bit of a mind over matter now. Can Argyle find something? Maybe someone like Massey, the substitute, fresher legs than others. Here's another substitute. He's been bright since he's come on as well. Salawu, 2 men out to meet him, plays it through to Medine. Unlucky there, if he'd have got that away. I think Lilly and Veal in the central midfield for Exeter have come into the game the longer it's gone on. They've played well sitting in that midfield for City. Ball over the top towards Massey, that's a bit too heavy, he's not going to reach that one. Try though he might. And it finds the back of the net in the practice goal. Argyle need to do it in the real thing, and they're running out of time to do it in. Only just under 5 minutes now, plus anything that referee James Gould wants to add on. He looks like he's puffing a bit as well, the ref. He's put a shift in of his own.
Long night for him as well.
He's done quite well actually, to be fair to him, the referee. I suppose any Exeter fans listening to this are going to say, well, you would say that he's given 2 penalties, but I think they were penalties.
Yeah.
Ball bouncing around, here's Hansen, little touch inside, Mitchell read it, hooked on by Salawu, didn't quite find Massey, but he wins the header as well. And again, Salawu, good persistence away from the defender Pond for Exeter. It gets away from Medine and it's out for another throw in. And again, just sense that City will just let these seconds go. And again, who can blame them? Lilly tries to hook it on, didn't get it very far. Miller wins the header in midfield bravely. It falls to Max Clark.
Has he gone for that?
Well, he was going for at least some distance, wasn't he, if nothing else. Moyle for Argyle, whips it out, overarm towards Purcell, gets it run over his foot, but then recovers. Inside to Medine, Purcell again, inside to Crass. That was a neat little ball. Can he find something that switches on towards Rutherford? And he gets there eventually, doesn't quite play it far enough, but the loose ball falls to Miller. Rutherford by the touchline, can he commit his man, take him on down the right hand side? Argyle's first attack came from him, and can their second as well, or can their last as well? Or one of their last, Rutherford's cross is picked out by the goalkeeper.
Almost a great ball. Great energy at this stage of the game.
You see on the replay again to the bottom, and under pressure digging the ball out.
Good pressure from the defender, to be fair. Difficult to get across on.
Goalkeeper kicks, but he hits it up in the air. Argyle have got just under 3 minutes plus anything added on to salvage this FA Youth Cup tie. Medine bouncing around the midfield, wasn't held as far as the referee is concerned. It goes into Hansen, he's going to try and hold it up for as long as he can. Out to Rag, who might have scored the winning goal. What a great tackle from Purcell. I love that technique of his, the right foot first, winning the ball.
Great play.
And now away goes Salawu. What a great run this is. Carries on, beats 2 or 3. Didn't get it in the end, but it's going to fall to Miller. Referee is going to bring this a long way back. They allowed a long advantage there, but he eventually brings the ball back to give Argyle a free kick. It's about 10 yards into the Exeter half, but I would anticipate that Medine will clip this into the area. Actually, he's going to leave it for Charlie Miller. Potentially Argyle's last chance. We do still have 2 and a bit minutes to go. It's played out towards Medine. Can he get the cross in from the left? He can. It's headed away by Veal. Miller can try and pick this up. Oh, and in the end, he's had to bring the Exeter player down. Going to give credit to Lilly there, who was quickest to the ball. Miller will probably get booked for that, I would have thought. Yeah, he does. He probably doesn't care all that much at this stage, quite frankly, because that was he had to go for it. But in the end, Exeter have got the free kick, and they're going to be happy to just knock it long as the time ticks away. Just under 90 seconds now, unless anything is to be added on.
One last chance, hopefully.
There's still time. Night has long fallen, the mist is starting to descend under Home Park's lights.
Fireworks, smoke.
It could be actually, couldn't it? The fireworks finding their way in. But can Argyle find one more banger to get themselves level here? Crocker, who's bounced through a couple of challenges. Massey, edge of the box, gets the shot away, it's deflected. Oh, it's fallen to the goalkeeper. You just wanted that to either, at the very least, go out for a corner or just fall to someone, but in the end, the tight defending of Exeter, and we do need to give them credit for it because they've done well here to get bodies around the ball, and the goalkeeper gratefully pouches it. Maybe was that the last chance? It was great persistence again by Argyle to try and get through. It just didn't come off. Great header by Crass, gets some distance on that, goes for the second one, didn't win it, but then up comes Halls, great commitment once again. Argyle going to have to find something from Mitchell, has to go back to his goalkeeper. Basically at the end of this game now, within the next 10 seconds or so, will be the end of the 120-minute mark. We'll see if anything gets added on. Purcell goes for that right footed tackle again, doesn't get this one. The ball is crossed in towards the near post, punched away by Moyle. Did a good job. Should they have kept hold of that Exeter rather than crossed it? They've actually got it back now, so they'll get away with that decision. Massey leapt in on Clark, a free kick would have been given. Another cross comes in, and they do head it on goal. It goes wide. I mean, they're trying to kill this off clearly, but I'm not sure I'd be crossing it. I think I'd be looking to keep the ball and run the clock down, because Argyle do have it back. And here goes Miller, long towards Massey. Good header from Clark, good positioning, well read. On from Veal, and then it bounces around between various players. Izagwan will try and see it out for a throw-in. Rutherford holds onto it, and then long from Halls as Argyle look for one last chance, but it's a chance that doesn't come, because after 120 long minutes, it's Exeter that will get through. And if you see the pitch here, we can see a couple of the Exeter players celebrating, but if you look all around the pitch at the moment, there are Argyle players on their haunches. They know what they've put into tonight. This is going to hurt tonight, Connor. They're going to feel this. This is going to feel really, they're going to feel down, and they should do, because no one likes losing any game. But ultimately, they're going to look back on that, and no one's going to have too many words of criticism there, are they? That was a great shift they put in. They've just come out on the wrong side of it.
Yeah, listen, I'm really gutted for the lads there. I think but to be fair, both teams have left absolutely everything out there, and I think Argyle played really well tonight, and unfortunate to be on the losing team, but it's a good lesson for the young lads, and they've got to try and take the positives from that, because there was still plenty of positives, and although they'll be hurting tonight and the next few days, they've got to bounce back from that and learn from it.
Everything's a learning curve, isn't it? However the game would have been tonight, if you'd have won 9-0, or if you'd have lost 9-0, or you do the extra time thing that we've done, it's all something else on the little tick on the graph, isn't it, to learn as you go along. But I do really feel that there'll be tactical issues, there'll be all sorts of things that I'm sure that Darren Way and Rhys Wilmot and Ryan Lowe and others will put a little word into the ear of certain players. You could have done this better, that better. But in terms of heart, commitment, everything of those kind of values, there's just nothing to fault, is there?
Absolutely not. They can be very proud of the performance, how much they put into it. I'm sure a lot of them, it was the first time playing 120 minutes, which is a new thing for them, and yeah, it's just bitterly disappointing for them at the minute, but I'm sure it's an experience that they'll learn from.
We'll just have a look at some of the highlights on our screen now as we look back through the game. This was Crocker getting the penalty in the first half, and talk to his performance all night. He worked hard, didn't he? Got in nuisance positions.
Yeah, he was very lively, didn't give up anything. Won free kick after free kick it seems, and scored a great penalty.
It must feel nice as well when you earn the penalty yourself and you get to step up and take it, and he did a nice job there. You see behind the goal, it wasn't right in the corner, but
just waits for the keeper to go down, doesn't he?
He'd seen the keeper go.
But no, he had a really strong performance, kept going all the way through, as did, I can't really fault any player, to be honest. They all gave a good account of themselves.
Here's Exeter's second goal. Just a little pinch at the near post from Toby Neville. It was a good ball in that, wasn't it?
Yeah,
it's a really challenging
clever
area.
finish. To be fair, I'm not sure if it goes off defender maybe, but
not sure.
I think it's a clever finish if it is him.
And this man is Izagwan. This is an example of him. Well, seemed to have.
It was.
seemed to have paused, but he did get into great positions all night. Here we're seeing it again.
Yeah, and I think the quality of the crosses was very good tonight for Exeter.
Oh, that was the one that didn't quite fall to love it. I still think he could have hit that one first time. Another corner that came in. Argyle dealt with the corners for the most part.
Very well, yeah.
The delivery was good from Exeter, but
I thought Lewis Moyle dealt very well with them.
because a couple he came for and punched, a couple he came for and caught them. There's an example, getting that one away two-handed, doing the job there. You can get back into position, can't you? After that, it sorts yourself out.
Definitely.
I'll reiterate what I said earlier on when I mentioned Luke McCormick's advice. Some people will say, he's got to catch that, but Luke will say, if you're not sure, get the punch on. You look much sillier if you go to catch it and drop it.
Yeah. This was unlucky. Not a good area, but just wasn't quite the man in the right area.
I thought he looked decent when he came on.
Yeah,
Hansen for Exeter held the ball up well, was strong.
Had a good touch.
That was a Lovett effort that was from a wide area. Potentially could have looked to have got a cross in there rather than, well, maybe he was. It was just a bit too close to the goalkeeper. Referee, you can see, had played advantage for the earlier foul. This was the penalty incident. The ball clipped back in there. I'm not quite sure what the defender is claiming. Seems to be appealing for some foul.
I think especially in the modern game as well, I think it's a penalty. You see them given every week now.
Yeah, it's the hand's away from the body, isn't it? And I think it's a definite pen. Miller takes it nicely. Not quite sure why it was a different player that took it, but just as good as the first penalty, as you say. Very calm take. Again, the keeper's committed himself early.
Definitely.
And Argyle looked to go on and find something else. This was Salawu firing one across the face of the goal.
Yeah, he looked lively when he came on, looked dangerous. Good pace, good ability.
We said at the time that it's a difficult angle for him to go at, but ultimately you can see the Argyle players arriving a bit late. He did the right thing to go ahead and shoot. Another example of
that was
good
a great
delivery
ball in.
From Exeter and a good defending
Begging to
from
be
Mitchell.
attacked.
A little word for Jenkins Davis, who we see on the end of this one. Just him bursting forward, getting into a good
just
position.
so much energy, and was always positive with the ball. Wants to make things happen, and very good.
In the end, he's dug that one out, and it's been found by the goalkeeper. But it was, in fact, we should point out. I mean, that's a great ball from Moyle, who had just caught a corner, I think, or just caught a cross, and fired that ball forward.
Unbelievable kick.
Goalkeeping distribution just as important as
defence to attack.
Keeping everyone out. And here we go. This is the clincher. Just gets himself a yard. Oh no, it's not actually. It's a different chance. It's the one where he clipped over and he was pushed over by the goalkeeper. But not only did he get himself into positions, Nelson Isiguan, it was the quality of the delivery, wasn't it?
He was impressive tonight.
That was the header that hit the bar from the corner there. It was Hansen getting up highest. In fact, he's maybe just slightly rising when he comes into contact with that, or maybe whether couldn't quite get the angle. This is the goal. Isiguan just
from this angle here.
There, look at that delivery.
It's a lovely delivery. Great area, and obviously the keeper's in a difficult moment there, whether to come and get it or if someone gets a touch on it.
I think he thinks with his first step forward that if he does so and the player in front of him gets there first, and he's committed himself, whereas if he stays back he can try and save the shot, and then he realises a slight bit too late. But I'm not blaming him for a second for that.
Not at all. It's a great delivery.
And Argyle looked to try and get through towards the end. That was a nice ball, neat ball from Medine into Massey with his shot towards the near post. I think the keeper did get a little touch on that, in fairness, but it was perhaps Argyle's last real chance as the game wore on. His fresh legs did make a bit of an impact, but again couldn't quite get that one on target. Oh, this was the effort from Miller, wasn't it, from the edge of the box? Good effort that, struck into the ground. That's a good save. And as we see the slip from Halls as he follows up, he was actually offside, so it wouldn't have mattered. But as it falls here to Miller, gets a couple of touches. In fact, the goalkeeper might not be as put off by bodies as I thought initially, but he still did well to save it. This is probably the last real action as Rutherford got along the flank and got the cross in, so we can wrap it up there. Thank you everybody for tuning in this evening and going through the game with us. I hope you found it entertaining. It might not have gone the right way as far as from an Argyle perspective, but Exeter have come out with a 3-2 victory. Plenty of food for thought for both teams, but I'm sure we'll be seeing a lot more of a lot of these Argyle players in the future, not only in future games here at Home Park in the youth competitions, but indeed moving forward into other things. We've already seen Brandon Purcell get his debut this year in the EFL Trophy, and we'll be here for that again next Tuesday. Indeed, that's the next game here at Home Park, which we'll bring to you But before that, lastly, Connor, a little trip to South London on Saturday. It's the FA Cup in its own right for you.
Yeah, definitely another tough game it'll be. Charlton obviously doing really well in the league. Got a lot of experienced players, so but one we're looking forward to.
Very good form, Charlton, and it'll be a good test for you all. But in pretty decent form yourself, and there's no team you're ever going to go to in this league and feel unconfident. But the result might have not gone the right way at Hull, but for one of the teams that are going to be up there at the end of the season, that was a good performance, wasn't it? So there won't be anyone in this league going to fear.
No, not at all. We certainly don't fear anyone, and we'll have a game plan as we always do, which we'll try to execute and try and win the game as we try to do in every game.
Well, we wish you well on Saturday up at Charlton.
Thank you, mate.
Good luck for that, and we'll all be tuning in here on iFollow. Don't forget you can get your match passes for that. Go and look elsewhere on the iFollow section of the Argyle website for all the details on how to purchase your match pass for Saturday. And as I say, we will be with you for next Tuesday's game in the Papa John's Trophy, as it is now, against Newport. So that's the next time I will speak to you. But you'll have others with you from Charlton on Saturday. Thank you once again for Conor Grant for giving up his evening and joining us for commentary this evening. And for myself, Robert Nichol, it's a very good evening.